અને એ જ ટ્રેડિશનને લઈને ગુજરાત વિદ્યાપીઠમાં કોઈ પણ કાર્યની શરૂઆત, ઇવન અમારી દૈનિક જે પ્રવૃત્તિ છે એમાં પણ પ્રાર્થના એક અમારું અભિન્ન અંગ છે. છાત્રાલયવાસ હોય કે એકેડેમિક એક્ટિવિટીઝ, અમારી કાર્યોની શરૂઆત પ્રાર્થનાથી થતી હોય છે. અને એમાં પણ સર્વધર્મ પ્રાર્થના, જ્યાં કોઈ ધર્મ ઊંચ નથી, કોઈ નીચ નથી. અમે બધા જ ધર્મ એક ડિવાઇન તત્વ તરફ લઈ જાય છે એ ભાવના સાથેની પ્રાર્થના ખૂબ સરસ રીતે કરી આપી. હવે હું now I request Atulbhai to come and felicitate our guests. આપણી વચ્ચે શ્રી દિલીપભાઈ ચૌહાણ છે. દિલીપભાઈ સાહેબ, જ્યારથી અમે આ શરૂઆત કરી ત્યારથી જ અમારી સાથે એક મોરલ સપોર્ટ, ગઈકાલે મેં કહ્યું એમ ફિનાન્શિયલ સપોર્ટ એમના કેડિલા ફાર્માના CSR યુનિટ તરફથી અમને મળ્યો છે. અને દિલીપભાઈ સાહેબ એ કેડિલા ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ ના CSR એકમના હેડ છે. યસ, અને બીજી એક વસ્તુ કે હી ઇઝ ઓલ્સો હી હેલ્સ ફ્રોમ અવર ઇંગ્લિશ ડિસિપ્લિન. એમણે BA MA ઇંગ્લિશમાં કરેલું છે અને ખૂબ એમણે જર્નલિઝમ પણ કરેલું છે અને ખૂબ એકદમ ડાઉન ટુ ધી અર્થ વ્યક્તિત્વ. પહેલી વખત મળીએ ત્યારથી જ દિલીપભાઈ આપણા છે એવું લાગે એવા દિલીપભાઈ ચૌહાણ સાહેબને મેમેન્ટો, શોલ અને કીટ અર્પણ કરવા હું અતુલભાઈને વિનંતી કરીશ કે તેઓ એમનું અભિવાદન કરે. થેન્ક યુ. સાથે સાથે દિલીપભાઈ સાહેબની જ ટીમમાંથી આપણે વચ્ચે मिस मुक्ताबेन मृणाल भी उपस्थित है. तो उनको फेलिसिटेशन करने के लिए भी अतुल भाई को मैं विनती करता हूँ. मुक्ताबेन ए कंटेंट राइटर है. She also belongs to discipline of English literature, and that is also a nice coincidence. Thank you. શેતલબેન
નું સ્વાગત દિવ્યેશભાઈ કરશે. સ્ટુડન્ટ સપોર્ટ સેલના અધ્યક્ષ ડૉક્ટર અરુણભાઈ ગાંધીનું સ્વાગત ડૉક્ટર દિવેશ કુમાર ભટ્ટ કરશે. આ દિલીપભાઈ સાહિત્ય જે જોડી આપ્યું છે એ ગાંધી સાહેબે જ અમને ખૂબ કરી છે અને આખો પ્રોગ્રામ એમની ફળશ્રુતિમાં થયો છે. એટલે અમે અરુણભાઈના પહેલા દિવસથી તો અંતિમ દિવસ સુધી, જ્યાં સુધી આ કાર્યક્રમ પૂરો નહીં થાય ત્યાં સુધી અમે એમના આભારી રહીશું. ફરીથી ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર ગાંધી સાહેબ આપનો.
થેન્ક યુ અતુલભાઈ. સો હવે હું બહુ વધારે સમય ન લેતા દિલીપભાઈ સાહેબને વિનંતી કરીશ કે તેઓ આવે અને એમની વાત આપણી સમક્ષ મૂકે. ખૂબ રસપ્રદ વાત બની રહેવાની છે, કારણ કે ગાંધીનો ટ્રસ્ટીશીપનો પ્રિન્સિપલ અને કોર્પોરેટ હાઉસીસ એની પર સાહેબ વાત કરવાના છે.
Go. Namaste, Chorthi. Thank you. Good morning, respected Arun Bhai sir. Uh, because of whom we joined this event, and for last 1.5 years we have been associated with the activities of NSS in various villages. And thank you Anil Bhai to connect to Arun Bhai sir. So Anil Bhai પણ સામે છે આપણી સાથે. So because of him, I think we could join Arun Bhai sir. Madam, who is looking after a CSR segment at Gujarat Vidyapith, my colleague Mrinal, uh, uh, the my dignitaries on dais, of the dais, and those who have joined virtually for this prestigious event, I welcome you warmly and very good morning to you all. दिखाई क्यों ना हाँ यस so actually my only topic was corporate social responsibility, and I thought it is not good to beating our own drums. So how Gandhiji was instrumental in giving shape to the corporate social responsibility policies of India, which is in force today. It came into force from 1st April 2014. So I have coined this title, Mahatma's Principle of Trusteeship and Corporate Social Responsibility. This my entire presentation will move around all these four pillars this Mahatma Gandhiji advocated during the independence movement, and after that Swaraj, that we have attained because of his dedicated efforts and the sacrifice of so many martyrs of our country. So Swaraj we attained, but now moving to the self-reliance. And on self-reliance part, what the role of the corporates, role of so many organizations and the conglomerates, we cannot deny. And how from a small company from Gujarat, started in a very humble way, played to make India self-reliance in the area of health sector, in the area of pharmaceuticals. So I think I should, instead of narrating it orally, we will see it in a audio visual manner. So, sir, I am films. So, before seeing this film, I just would like to say something about him. Okay, if Mahatma is the father of the nation, if Vikram Sarabhai is the father of this space technology, space science, if S. Swaminathan is the father of the green revolution in India, if this Abdul Kalam Sahib is the father of the missile technology in India, if Dr. Varghese Kurian is the father of Operation Flood in India, I am humble to say that is Sri Indrashil Modi is the father of pharma industry in the world, or not in world, but not in India, but not in the world, because what he has done in the for the industry, because he being I think his personality goes very much with the Gandhiji's. He was very humble, very down to earth, and he has never beaten his own drums. But we have tried to capture his persona in this AV of 10 minutes.
ચારનું ચાલુ થઈ ગયું બધાનું સમારોહ શું કરે છે?
સોરી ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, ગાંધીજી એટલા માટે કહે કે ટેકનોલોજીના પર બહુ આધારે નહીં રહેવું એમ. જેટલું બી શક્ય છે ત્યાં સુધી સેલ્ફ રિલાયન્ટ રહેવું. ભાઈ છોડો, નહીં હોય તો ખાલી પીપીટી ચાલુ રાખો. વિડુ અવાજ નથી આવતો. પીપીટી થર્ડ સ્લાઇડ. થર્ડ સ્લાઇડ. આપણા ત્યાં શેઠ ઝઘડુશા, વસ્તુપાળ, તેજપાળ અને ગુજરાતના શ્રેષ્ઠીઓ, એનો ઘણો મોટો ઇતિહાસ આપણી પાસે છે. how generous our shreshtis are there. I would like to quote one example. When the Gujarat was separated from Maharashtra, and there was an offer ki how which city should have the headquarter of Gujarat University, and the Shreshtis, the Nagar states of Ahmedabad and the state of Gaikwad were in race. So at that time, what offered by a state, the Saijira state, was lower than the offered by the Mahajans of Ahmedabad and Gujarat. So that's how the headquarters of Gujarat University is in Ahmedabad. So that is the tradition, that is the strength of our Srishti Parampara, and this is the base of this corporate social responsibility, model form of corporate social responsibility in India. Gandhiji no trusteeship no Siddhant and the corporate social responsibility. There are similarity as well as some differences. So what trusteeship advocates and what the corporate social responsibility says. So Gandhiji's trusteeship was rule of equity by contributing to corporate property. Whatever property you have to donate to the welfare and well-being of the society. Second was it was voluntary, because Gandhiji was again he was not do it forcefully or involuntary or कभी तुम्हारा अपूत पर से ये जोर जबरदस्ती वाली बात गांधीजी ना ट्रस्टीशिप का प्रिंसिपल वन होती significant portion of your property, but he was not defined what the significant mean. And last one is there were some the big conglomerates and corporates in those days like Tata, Birla, Godrej, Bajaj, and others. These corporates and industrialists joined him, and that's how Gandhiji's principle of trusteeship in a very nutshell. It's a very long. We can have 2-3 sessions on that, but only to narrate in a very nutshell. That is the 4-5 points which are very much important. The characteristics of Gandhiji's principle of trusteeship. Now that part has been given a form of an act, and what the act covers in corporate social responsibility, it is known as the Companies Act 2013. Gandhiji has said it significant, but here it has been specified the 2% of your average net profit of last 3 years. It was voluntary and very few. Tata, Birla, and those who were they were inclined to the donations, and those who are willing to donate. So only few were in the ambit, or those were very few were willing to donate. But now it has been mandatory, and I am happy that the India in the world is the very first country who has made CSR mandatory. આખી દુનિયામાં ભારત જ એવો એક દેશ છે કે જે આ CSR કોન્ટ્રીબ્યુશન છે એ ફરજિયાત બનાવ્યું છે. શક્ય છે કદાચ ગાંધીજીના એમના વોલન્ટરીવાળા જે કોન્સેપ્ટ છે ઇટ ઇઝ અગેન્સ્ટ દેટ, but not all. It has made it mandatory, but not all the corporates, all the companies are liable to pay 2% of their part. So who all are covered under this one? The company who has turnover of rupees 1,000 crore or so, or the net worth of more than 500 crore rupees, or the net profit of rupees 5 crore. Any company, any organizations which falls under any of the threes is liable to pay minimum 2% of their net profit for the social causes of the society. So it is good that this our government has thought of our the downtrodden people, those who have not have thought for that, and for that we should be thankful to the government. So as of now, if we talk about the size of our Indian industry and our growth, the total budget the corporates are liable to spend on CSR is not less than 50,000 crores. Indian corporates are required to spend rupees 50,000 crore on social activities, on CSR. So that's if it is spent in a systematic way, I think all the issues of development, all the issues of poverty, all the issues of this hunger can be eradicated. So, but this let me say that it's still this company, the act is in a nascent stage as of now, we can say, because there is a provision that you have to pay You have, but if you cannot spend that amount of money, that they are spared by giving a simple explanation. Okay, why you could not pay and where, how you will pay. But the days will come that there will be provision of penalty also. So as of now, just you have to give the explanation why you cannot pay. But the time will come and this act will be more mature. Next. Now, what the corporate social responsibility covers? What all are covered under social responsibility? If you perform what kind of activity is covered under corporate social responsibility, but the present form of this act is very much inspired by, very much dominated by Gandhian philosophy of trusteeship. And that's why during of pre-independence days, the Mahatma Gandhi for the development of the nations by funding and providing education, health, and other social services, and other and these are in fact framed as the CSR activities under Schedule 7 of the Companies Act 2013. What all are covered? I go through very quickly. Elimination of hunger, poverty, and malnourishment, promotion of preventive health and sanitation, promotion of education including special education, promoting gender equality, empowering women, setting up houses, homes and hostels for women and orphanage, setting up of old age homes, daycare homes, and such other activities, reducing child morbidity and mortality, improving maternal health, and providing hospital facility and low-cost medicines, ensuring environment sustainability, ecological balances, protection of flora and fauna, animal welfare, agroforestry, conservation of natural resources, maintaining quality of soil and water, employment, enhancing vocational skills, protection of national heritage, art and culture, measures of the benefits of armed forces, veterans, war widows, and other departments, training to promote rural sports, nationally recognized sports, sports of Olympic and sports, contribution to the Prime Minister National Relief Fund and any other fund set up by the central government, and rural development projects. Rural development projects is a wider term and it covers so many aspects. But if you look at all these points, you can see that the welfare that Gandhiji had thought for the society, almost all the aspects are covered in these points. So we can definitely say that this act, this present this frame of corporate social responsibility act is very much influenced by the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. And if as I told you, but if it is taken in a right spirit and it is implemented in a right way, then many of the issues, many of the problems can be eradicated from India. Huh? Rally though. Being a pharma company and be the healthcare company, that is in our topmost priority. Tool we can say that Gandhiji promoted to make the villages self-reliant and to make the farmers prosper. Environment, again, he has been promoting the wise use of natural resources. I think there is one sentence said by Gandhi: there is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. तो अपना लोभ ने थोप नहीं तो एना कारणे we have this what we have done with the environment. So the environment is again in our CSR agenda. Livelihood and financial liaison. Livelihood we focus especially women, And financial inclusion, we try to promote the financial literacy among the communities, and village infrastructure. So our CSR program more or less covers everything, all these programs. But when we talk about the health, because being a pharma company, like I told you, and healthcare company, health is our priority. And in health, we have our founder chairman, Sri Indravadan Modi, has created an organization, a hospital in his hometown, a place, a very small town in South Gujarat, a place, Hasot. It's Ankleshwar block and Bharuch district. So I'm narrating some incident how it has emerged. So in around in the year of 1948, he had his cousin, and he died because of non-availability of treatment in that area in those days. So in those days, he was not that much well off, or well, he was not that much wealthy. But from that incident, he has decided that if I become a little more prosperous in my life, I'll set up a health facility. At least one should not die because of the non-availability of treatments, and that's why he made he that the rest is the history. He established Cadila in 1951, and when they settled and the business was settled, he created a trust in 1979-80, and from 1985 this hospital is operational. So let's have a look how the hospital is working.
His visuals that he sees around him, widespread poverty, lack of basic amenity, the early 1940s. A young man grows up in a small town in South Gujarat. His young, impressionable mind is perturbed by the visuals that he sees around him. Widespread poverty, lack of basic amenities, sparse livelihood opportunities, no access to affordable health care, leading to unwanted morbidity and untamed mortalities. Made a promise to himself to do whatever it takes to change all this. This young man went on to become one of the pioneers of the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Sri Indravadan Modi, founder chairman of Cadila Pharmaceuticals. In 1985, he established Kaka-Ba Hospital as a working rural healthcare model that is both participatory and self-sustaining. A. Modi also made another promise. Come what may, this hospital should continue.
Put up the hospital in a very backward area, and I have taken care that enough quarters is given to the hospital, because Modi or no Modi, hospital will always go forever.
That hospital is the CSR initiative of Cadila Pharmaceuticals Ltd. It was established in 1985 under the aegis of Kaka-Ba and Budh Public Charitable Trust. Located on Hasot Ankleshwar Road near Uttarad village, Kaka-Ba Charitable Hospital became an oasis of hope, providing quality medical care in this remote and poverty-ridden area of Gujarat. The services offered have been continually upgraded. Today, the facility is at par with any multi-specialty hospital, providing quality and affordable health care to all, and free of cost to the needy, saving thousands of valuable lives, thanks to proper diagnosis and early intervention.
which is all the people who will life in this, be related to poisoning, medical, or surgical imaging. We are proud that we are able to be more efficient and more collaborative.
The ambience of Kaka-Ba Hospital, with its abundant greenery, parks, and temples, offers a holistic healing environment. Structure having all modern amenities. A well-equipped ICU, OP conference rooms. The plastic surgery campaign, initiated by Kaka-Ba, caters to patients having various facial deformities. Totally free of cost. As on date, the hospital has brought back the smiles to nearly 3,500 patients. At highly subsidized cost. There hasn't been a single case of post-surgery infection. Thousands of patients every year, year after year, bringing smiles and cheer to their lives. Is successful as a working model because it believes in keeping it simple.
Number two, availability of doctors 24/7, 365 days. And number three, content of doctors is handling any kind of medical emergency. Right here and now. Therefore, we are able to treat 90% of the problem or 20%.
Today, Kaka-Ba has moved beyond just healthcare in lifestyle, fostering community development, becoming the change agent in the area, training of young women, new avenues for economic independence, creating gainful employment to more than 1,000 rural families, providing economic empowerment to the villagers by establishing more than 600 aquaculture ponds, which has led to their prosperity.
આ પ્રવૃત્તિ 1,000 હેક્ટર ખરાબાની જમીનમાં વિકસી રહી છે. આનાથી આવક મળી રહે છે. વર્ષે એક તળાવની અંદરથી 10 થી 15 લાખ રૂપિયા જેટલી રકમ મળે છે.
In local partnership, synergizing efforts with cooperatives in the region for better output.
સુરતની ડેરી સાથે 1.5 લાખ કરતા પણ ઉત્પાદકો જોડાયેલા છે. ગામડાની અંદર ઘણી બધી સમસ્યાઓ છે. કાકાબા હોસ્પિટલ દ્વારા માર્ગદર્શન અને સમાધાન મળ્યું છે, તે પણ તદ્દન મફત. આનાથી ઉત્પાદકમાં પહેલા કરતા પણ અમારા પર વિશ્વાસમાં વધારો થયો છે.
Leveraging businesses that are intrinsic to the development of the region. By tying up with local corporates for a sustainable model, thereby co-creating CSR.
Before CSR was even mandated, Sri I.A. Modi's philanthropic nature helped in creating Kaka-Ba. Today, Kaka-Ba has provided a platform for cooperation and collaboration with NGOs, cooperatives and corporates.
We at Asian Paints Ankleshwar have always believed to have sustainable social changes, particularly in the area of education, water and health. In
Initially, Kaka-Ba Hospital used to cater to the people of Hasot and surrounding villages. Now patients come from across Gujarat and even states like MP, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, UP and West Bengal. An efficient, self-sustaining model in rural healthcare and community development. All thanks to the founder's vision, commitment and passion of Dr. Bharat Champaneria, conviction and dedication of the team involved, with synergized networking, cooperation and collaborative efforts. Kaka-Ba, spreading smiles all across. The care continues. Kaka-Ba shows the way.
Thank you, sir. I would like to highlight two points other than which is not narrated in this film. You saw Dr. Bharatbhai Champaneria. He has been associated with the hospital for last 45 years, from the inception, from the groundbreaking ceremony. Dr. Bharatbhai was a green card holder. આજે આપણે બધા પ્લેન ભરી ભરીને અમેરિકામાં લેન્ડ થવાની બધી ઘટનાઓ બને છે. He was a green card holder at a single request of I.A. Modi, because he said that I am setting up, I have planned to set up such a hospital and I need a dedicated person like you. At that time, એમનું ગ્રીન કાર્ડ જવા દીધું. અમેરિકાની એમની ઝાક જમાડવાળી જિંદગી છોડી અને કાકાબામાં સેટલ થયા. અને સિન્સ દેન મોદી સાહેબ કહે છે કે ભાઈ આઈ હેવ નોટ ટેકન એ સિંગલ લીવ. એમનું પણ એવું જ છે. For last 45 years he has been there. Hardly કદાચ એકાદ દિવસ he must have taken the leave, but he is available 24/7. And because of that, see that the hospital, where in initial days the bed occupancy was hardly 5 or 10. As of now, we have capacity of 50 beds, but we can accommodate more than 100 patients. So as of now, the bed occupancy is around 40-45 patients daily. Second thing, you saw some pics of the small children and these women with this plastic surgery. Then plastic surgery, till now we have carried out more than 10,000 plastic surgeries totally free. એનો અંદાજ આપણને પેલા બેને કદાચ કીધું કે એનાથી શું ફાયદો થયો છે કે એ ખાસ કરીને એ બાજુના જે દક્ષિણના જે ટ્રાઇબલ બેલ્ટ છે, ડેડિયાપાડા છે, વ્યારા છે, સોનગઢ છે, એ વિસ્તારોમાં, if a child is born with this physical deformity, the torn lip or this cleft palate, they considered it as a curse of a god. એટલે ભગવાનનો શ્રાપ છે, એથી કરી આની સારવાર ના થાય એવી એ લોકોનામાં એક ધારણા અને ભાવના હતી. ભરતભાઈ સાહેબે આજે તમે બે માણસો જોયા જે સુમુલ ડેરીના ધારાના જે ફિલ્ડ વર્કર્સ હતા, એમની સાથે ટાઈઅપ કર્યું. બિકોઝ અમે લોકો ડાયરેક્ટલી ના પહોંચી શકતા હતા. એમના થ્રુ વી ટ્રાઈડ ટુ અવર ધીસ આઉટરીચ વી મેનેજ થ્રુ ધેમ. સો આવા એક ઓર બે પેશન્ટ્સની જ્યારે સર્જરી થઈ અને દે સો દેટ ધી ડ્રાસ્ટિકલ ચેન્જ, બિકોઝ આખો ચહેરો બદલાઈ જાય, આખી ફેસની આખી તમારી ભૂગોળ બદલાઈ જાય. So because of that, the message spread in the society. Okay, but this is not a curse. If we go for this medical treatment, we can also have this beautiful face. And because of that, these girls and boys and women who do not would come out of their homes. Even those girls with a torn lip would not go to the schools. But because of that surgery, they could gain some confidence, and they started their schooling. So that is the impact of that plastic surgery initiative. There are routine activities are so many that we have conducted more than 25,000 dialysis procedures till date, and this project has done. Not only that, we provide the to and fro facility to the patients. We pick up the patients from their home and we drop them at their home. So all is because of the inspiration of that man you saw in the film, and he says that Modi or no Modi, show must go on. So he is in fact he has created such a financial structure, such a financial model that he passed away in 2012 November, but till that the hospital has never faced the financial crunch, and that is the model he has developed, and those in 45 years, 50 years back, that model he has created. So that was all about Kaka-Ba hospital. Now, what our CSR area, this corporate social responsibility covers. So we are present in 3 states: Gujarat, Jammu and Kashmir, and Tamil Nadu. And we have adopted total 21 villages to make them a model village. What the government of Gujarat has prescribed some odd 11 criteria, and we are working on that areas in the villages. Here, Jammu and Kashmir, there are 5 villages, and there is a place called Samba. જ્યારે આપણે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી તરફથી ને સરકાર તરફથી ટેક્સ હોલિડે આપવાની જ્યારે વાત થઈ હતી, ત્યારે many of the industries, many of the conglomerates preferred to go in the states of this Uttaranchal or the comparatively peace and peaceful states as compared to others. Our chairman, Mr. Modi, preferred to go in Jammu and Kashmir, most disturbed place in those days. Samba is just 8 kilometers. The border from Samba is just 8 kilometers. Suchetgarh border, and you must have heard. There is one. I think you must have heard about this border pillar. At one juncture, there is a tree as a border pillar, because in that border the pillar લગાઈ શકાય એવું નહોતું, એટલે પછી ઝાડને જ પિલર બનાવી દો, એટલે ઝાડ એ જોવા જેવું એક ઇનકેસ ચાન્સ મળ્યો હતો. So the second, but he preferred to go to the border state of Jammu and Kashmir, and the intention behind was that if we go there and we create an employment opportunity, the youths who are engaged in anti-national activities, in the terrorism, can be employed, then can be counseled, and can be employed in the gainful employment. And that was his national spirit in for creating this facility in Jammu and Kashmir. So this was एक आडवात थी. So yes. So what I have shown in the diagram, it is in a verbal form what we are doing in the area of health, in the area of education, in the area of livelihood, agriculture and environmental, village infrastructure, and financial inclusion. So I don't think I have to repeat it. તમે ઇલાબેન ભટ્ટનું નામ કેટલાય સાંભળ્યું છે આમાંથી? બહુ સરસ, વેરી ગુડ. So he is again thorough Gandhian and very much sensitive to the issues, especially issues of the women in your society. So we thought that if we have to go for the overall empowerment of the society, we should do something for the women of the villages, and for that sake we have collaborated with Seva, and they have a concept called Seva Shakti Kendra, SSKs, and Seva Shakti Kendra na madhyamthi we are trying to create this awareness on health, awareness on education, awareness on environment, awareness on social and financial literacy. So all these are carried out through Seva Shakti Kendras. We have total 11 Seva Shakti Kendras in Ahmedabad and Bharuch districts. And what we do through Seva Shakti Kendras, through Seva, is in the area of health and hygiene, we do group education and door-to-door education. promoting leadership for adolescent girls through Yuva Mandals, social security through Seva Shakti Kendra under the leadership of Arogya Sakhi, create livelihood opportunities by giving some vocational trainings to the girls. It may be in the form of this agarbatti making, in the form of beauty parlor training, in the form of this computer skills, the tailoring skills, all that. So the livelihood part is taken care through that activity. Village infrastructure mostly we wherever possible we do that, but we do try to do it with the help of the government. And environment, yes, we create this man-made forest. Till date, we have in last 3 years we must have planted not less than 4 lakh trees across our plants and the public community places. So that's how we are taking care of the environment. These are the glimpses of some of the activities we carry out in various villages. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. We work on this motto, and one request I would like to make કે આમાંથી સાઉથ ગુજરાત વાળા એરિયામાંથી કોઈ છે, મતલબ those who belong to South Gujarat or so Kaka-Ba hospital is just near Ankleshwar, है ना? हाँ, that's just near Ankleshwar, and we are still in search of the these plastic surgery patients. We regularly conduct medical camps. In this tribal belt we go till Ahwa and get the patients. But if you come across such patients, the boy who has the burn injuries and a post-born contracture, ઘણા અંગો એવા જકડાઈ જાય કે પછી દજા પછી છૂટા ના પડી શકે. તો Dr. Kimitri is a well-known, internationally renowned plastic surgeon. We put the photographs of those patients in our website. He is based out of Canada. He saw some merit in our work, and inspired by that work, in the year of before Corona, all the way from Canada, he collected almost 4, 5, 6 more plastic surgeons and paramedic staffs. He gathered them all together, and he came to our hospital. And before coming there, he has asked me, requested us to you create a pool of patients so that we can, whenever we come there, we can have a significant number of patients on whom we can operate upon. So Operation Rainbow Canada is a well-known NGO. So inspired by that plastic surgery initiative, Dr. Kimitri, along with his 14-15 members team, came to Kaka-Ba hospital, stayed there for 15 to 20 days, and operated all the patients with their own cost. So that is the impact of our this plastic surgery initiative. And the best part of it, of their expertise is that they have a technique which which causes less minimum number of incisions and minimum of blood flows during the surgical procedure. So that is the special technique. And the infection is the vatat buli jab. We have such a facility, and they operate in a such a way that not in a single patient have got the infection. So that's all I think from my side. But भाई आपने आइए मोदी सर ने फिल्म बता सकता. एक 5-7 minute एक film जे we could not see. I think with this that film we would like to complete this session.
The vision of one great revolution. became the life mission of another. A mission that changed the course of Indian history. On August 15, 1947, after a long-drawn struggle, India achieved her freedom. But self-dependence was still a challenge. Young India was still struggling, still influenced, overshadowed, and indirectly dominated by foreign powers. Swaraj still seemed unfulfilled without its other half. During these difficult times, one great visionary lifted the beacon of Swadeshi and set forth for the mission to create a healthy India. He challenged the oppressive oligopoly of a few multinational giants in Indian healthcare industry. When allopathic medicine was labeled as Angrezi Dawa, he pledged to make our healthcare sector self-reliant. To alleviate the pain of the poorest sections of the society, he pioneered an initiative towards affordable healthcare for all. That man was Mr. Indravadan Modi, the revolutionary medicine man of India, and his groundbreaking initiative, Cadila Pharmaceuticals, is saving millions of lives for more than 6 decades across the world. Great revolutions begin with one great idea, and great journeys begin with one bold step. Mr. Modi, a young pharma graduate, took that step when he decided to start a pharma company with a different. In 1951, Mr. Modi established Cadila and then never looked back. Combining the traditional Gujarati spirit of enterprise with hard work and ingenuity, he dared to venture into the pharma world and succeeded phenomenally. He destroyed the prevailing myth that drug making is beyond the capacity of Indian companies. The man who was denied even an application form for setting up a factory went on to pioneer one of the biggest pharma conglomerates of India. Being an outsider, to climb on the ladder of success was a continuous struggle for Mr. Modi, right from securing a license to make drugs, to persuading physicians to prescribe Cadila drugs for treatment of the sick. But his passion and perseverance was indomitable. Mr. Modi was a man with deep business insight. During initial stages of Cadila development, he was the whole and soul of the business. He was the producer, promoter, distributor, delivery man, manager, all rolled into one. He was a man with far-sightedness who believed in simplicity.
First, like that, we are even staying in a small house to start with one bedroom, then two bedrooms, something like that.
Mr. Modi's wife, Sheila Ben, was his driving strength. She worked shoulder to shoulder with him throughout his journey. Mr. Modi was blessed to have such a fountain of inspiration always by his side. From the beginning, Mr. Modi remained customer-focused and wedded to ethical goals.
My strength is complete honesty to the society. I had never thought of cheating anyone in the world. Though I have been cheated many times, I always take it that it is their duty, God's will, and do it. My second strength is decision-making machinery. And let me tell you, that only has helped me to bring Cadila to this height.
As a technocrat, Mr. Modi laid strong emphasis on research and development and consistently invested in it. His strategic decision to make larger investments in R&D proved to be masterful management decisions. He firmly believed that innovation, beyond a tool for success, should be a way of life.
With a sheer determination to offer innovative yet affordable medicines, Mr. Modi pioneered a number of groundbreaking innovations and presented many firsts in the world like Polycap for prevention and treatment of cardiovascular diseases, Risorin, the world's first product with boosted rifampicin for the treatment of tuberculosis, and many more. These innovative products shows the sheer commitment of Shri I.A. Modi towards essential drugs, which are very much needed to combat dreaded diseases.
His driver was that India should make affordable drugs which could reach people, and another driving force about him was that he will venture into new discoveries.
Mr. Modi always said that true celebration of research lies as much in inventions as in making the medicine affordable to the last man of the society. This axiom was his driving force.
Risorin price is cheaper. A new molecule is cheaper than the price of the old molecule. This is a very rare event in the history of pharmaceuticals.
Always he was objective is to make a cheap and affordable medicine. That was the slogan. Affordable.
Mr. Modi's mission to put India on the global pharma map has produced exciting results. His global outreach not only increased his knowledge base in research and marketing, but also portrayed India as a force to reckon with in the pharmaceutical world. His business philosophy has been simple: make the highly needed drugs affordable and attain maximum penetration. Under his leadership, Cadila evolved into a multidisciplinary Indian MNC, serving over 100 countries across the world. Mr. Modi's contributions have helped to shape and form the Indian pharmaceutical industry as a whole.
Product patent is not good for Indian consumers and for the Indian industry, and we should go for a process patent. We had made a very enough resistance, and government accepted that okay, this Patent Act before 1970 is amended for Indian Patent Act 1970, which is a process patent. Because of that, India could produce many products at most competitive price, about 1/10 of the price available in the world.
He is revered as the champion of Indian Patents Act, 1970. A business baron, a pioneer of the pharmaceutical industry, a true innovator that is a steady source of inspiration to many.
A sort of role model, not only for his company persons, but to all of us whosoever ever associated with him. He was very kind, generous, sharp, very benevolent, and was helping almost all segments of employees.
There are individuals who come to this world to make a difference. And I.A. Modi is one such individual. Sri Modi ji has not only left a footprint during his life, but also after he has gone away.
If I am given a chance to mold myself around someone, I will like to be like Mr. Modi.
He was very clear in mind. He said, I want to make drug affordable, and I also want to say that till the last person who is the poorest of the poor can get the medicine and can buy the medicine.
Mr. Modi's life can be described in many glowing terms, but above all, he remains a champion for humanity.
Mr. Modi, a human, so humane, led a life without a speck of pain, pushing the horizon beyond every limit, eternal forever, with inspiration he continues to emit.
Each and every award bestowed upon Mr. Modi was an appreciation to his unparalleled service to human health. The true measure of life, so exemplary, lies in the millions of healthy smiles he helped create. His legendary life narrates a story of philanthropy far beyond social responsibility. Long before the concept of corporate social responsibility became an intensive subject of national debate, Mr. Modi had taken concrete steps towards practicing it by building a modern charitable hospital, serving the
previous documentary. I think I should end here because I have taken much of time of you. ખાલી એક જ વાત મારે એમને કહેવી છે કે we are promoting the affordable medicines and how affordable we are. I would like to cite only one example. We have a molecule called ranitidine, and our brand name is Essilor Rentec. You must have heard of anybody who has the acidity. Ranitidine. Ranitidine price in India ranges anywhere between 80 paisa to 85 to 90 paisa, maximum 1 rupees. Same molecule, same medicine is costing 8 rupees in our neighboring countries. That much affordable we are. We are the 1/10 of the cost as compared to the other one. And I believe the mission he has started in 1951, we have been successful in achieving that mission by providing the most affordable and cheap medicines, not too cheap, but the quality medicines in the world. Thank you very much.
So, really, it was very informative and eye-opening session. Dilip Bhai successfully threw light on the CSR activities and how Gandhi's vision has been coming true through even corporate sector also. So it was really a nice session. Now without taking much time, I will request Shetal Madam to come and deliberate her speech. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, I thank Faculty of Language, Dean, the head of the department, and all the organizing members to give me this opportunity. I will not take much time because we are getting late. So I'm just Dilip sir has already presented all the definitions and all that. But just I go briefly in this because the Department of Lifelong Learning, Gujarat Vidyapith, is running 3-month certificate programs on CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. So many of us are not knowing about what corporate social responsibility. Today, Dilip sir has given us just highlights what is corporate responsibility, what they are doing. So I'm just going through because in our culture, as we are in the Gujarat Vidyapith, we also know what is our culture and what Gandhi has given us about this social responsibility. So we are quickly going through this presentation. Okay. Next. Yeah, this is the definitions given by different experts. I'm just giving the basic because this is the definition. Social responsibility is what corporate are gaining, like business, society, and all, how together work for the betterment of the society. Next. In our culture, evolution, how corporate social responsibility is evolution. That is, we have in our we have our 4 Vedas. All of you are knowing that is Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharvaved. So it is union of self, that is our self, our Atma, and the world is Brahman. So our whole world is on the basis of this 4 Vedas Next. Next. Okay, so I'm just explain what in this. So I'm not going through this. Next. Bhagavad Gita also they have given this is what we have to do, like perceive way of life, way of thinking and way of worship. It takes of social reconstruction and transformation of the world. Next. Even in Ramayana, like Ramayana is the, we are reading that from this childhood, what is the childhood story about the Ram. Then second stage, learning from the great characters of Ramayana. Different characters have different roles and their responsibility, how they have come through that responsibility. Then third level, family, social gathering, administration, like Ram goes in the one and Bharat taken the administration and how he done the responsibility. All that we are going. Then fourth level, the building society, state, and we are taking that Ram Rajya, principles of Ram Rajya. Till today we are telling that. Next. Then Buddhism came in evolution, like suffering from exist, like we all are suffering from something like દુઃખ આપણે કહીએ ને દુઃખ તો બધાને હોય હે ને તો એને કેવી રીતે એનીમાંથી બહાર આવવું કોઝિસ એના ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ કરવા કેર દેન સફરિંગ ફ્રોમ એડિકેશન એના કારણો શોધીને એમાંથી બહાર આવું અને દેર ઇઝ અ મીન્સ ઓફ એડિકેશન એટલે એના કારણોમાંથી શોધીને આપણે જ એમાંથી બહાર આવવાનું છે એન્ડ this is a practice established the fact that everything on the earth is not permanent. બરાબર કોઈ પણ દુઃખ કે કોઈ પણ વસ્તુ પરમેનન્ટ નથી એને આપણે ઇરેડિકેટ કરવાની કોશિશ કરીશું તો એ ચોક્કસ નાબૂદ થશે. નેક્સ્ટ આ બધા ફેઝિસ આપ્યા છે કે ફિલાન્થ્રોફી બરાબર ગુજરાતમાં છે ગાંધી ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટમાં છે એટલે તમને ખબર છે કે આપણી જે દિલીપ સરે પણ વાત કરી કે આપણી દાનની પરંપરા છે ચેરિટીની પરંપરા છે આજે આપણે કંઈ પણ કરીએ તો એવું કંઈક દાન કરવાનું કોઈ પણ તહેવાર આવે ફેસ્ટિવલ્સ આવે તો એ ફિલાન્થ્રોફી અને ચેરિટીની પરંપરા આપણી હતી જ જે 1850થી આપણે કરતા આવ્યા છે આપણા મહાજનો બિઝનેસમેનો એ પણ કરતા જ આવ્યા છે અને એને ગવર્મેન્ટ 2014થી એટલે 2013માં આ CSRનો કાયદો બન્યો અને 2014થી એ ઇમ્પ્લિમેન્ટ કર્યું. સરે આગળ કીધું જ કે ઇન્ડિયા ઇઝ ધ ફર્સ્ટ country who has mandatorily established this law. Second phase was the period of independence struggle when the industries pressures to show dedication. Industries ને આપણે જ્યારે આઝાદ થયા ત્યારે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝનું પ્રેશરાઇઝ હતું કે હવે આપણા કન્ટ્રીના ડેવલપમેન્ટ માટે એ લોકો આગળ આવે લોકોને મદદ કરે એ સ્ટેજ હતું અને એમાં ગાંધીજીએ ટ્રસ્ટીશીપનો સિદ્ધાંત આપ્યો. ટ્રસ્ટીશીપનો સિદ્ધાંત ઓલ ઓફ યુ આર નોઈંગ દેટ વોટ ઇઝ ટ્રસ્ટીશીપ લાઈક પાર્ટનરશીપ that all the corporates have their properties and that should be equally distributed to the employees and the society because એના પર બધાનો રાઇટ છે કોઈ ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલનો રાઇટ નથી. નેક્સ્ટ third stage that is CSR were influenced by the emergency of public sectors એટલે પબ્લિક સેક્ટર્સનો રોલ છે થર્ડ સ્ટેજમાં એવું આવ્યું કે આ આપણું કામ નથી ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલ લેવલ પર અથવા કોર્પોરેટનું એ પબ્લિક સેક્ટર્સનું કામ છે એટલે સરકારનું કામ છે સરકારી ક્ષેત્રોનું કામ છે એવી જે મેન્ટાલિટી થર્ડ સ્ટેજમાં આવી અને એ દ્વારા કામ કરવામાં આવ્યું કે ભાઈ કોઈનું માટે કામ કરવું છે ગરીબો માટે કોઈ સ્કીમ કરવી છે તો એ સરકારનું કામ છે અને પબ્લિક સેક્ટરનું કામ છે. નેક્સ્ટ and then the fourth stage come then 1980s onward the Indian companies integrated CSR and sustainable business strategies એટલે 1980s પછી દરેક કોર્પોરેટને એવું લાગ્યું કે બિઝનેસ સ્ટ્રેટેજીસ છે આપણે જો એમ્પ્લોઈઝ અને સોસાયટીના ડેવલપમેન્ટ માટે કામ નહીં કરીએ તો સોસાયટી ડેવલપ નહીં થાય, એમ્પ્લોઈઝ ડેવલપ નહીં થાય અને આપણે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીને ટકાવી નહીં શકીએ. That is the main idea. Next. Then the stage of corporate grants was started and like become an open economy. આપણે બધા જાણીએ છીએ લિબરલાઇઝેશન્સ પોલિસીઝ આવી ડૉક્ટર મનમોહન સિંહના કાળમાં અને એ પછી 2013માં આ કાયદો થયો કંપનીઝ એક્ટના અંડરમાં introducing section under Company Act 2019 and the provision under the Companies Act are 2013 અને જે લાગુ પડ્યું એ 2014થી. એવરેજ કંપની આગળ સરે કહી દીધું છે કે 500 કરોડના પ્રોફિટને એટલે હું ફરી રિપીટ નથી કરતી. નેક્સ્ટ આઈ એમ જસ્ટ કમિંગ ટુ ધીસ જે ગુજરાત વિદ્યાપીઠ કરી રહી છે કારણ કે ગાંધીજીના આદર્શો પર આપણે ટ્રસ્ટીશીપનો સિદ્ધાંત લોકો સુધી લઈ જવાનો છે એટલે આ એક ઇનિશિયેટિવ 2021થી ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ ઓફ લાઈફ લોંગ લર્નિંગે શરૂ કર્યું છે. And we are running 3 month certification program that is running on Saturdays, Sundays. Next slide. These are the 4 papers we are giving and the basics, all basics for corporate social responsibility we are covering. That is the online program and Saturday and Sunday we are doing only the case studies were given, that is they have to work for a month in the different institute for the corporate social responsibility. Thank you, and we are here to serve you. If anybody has any questions or anything, they can come to the department and we are handling this corporate social responsibility. We are organizing with different organizations. Thank you. I request Arun sir also to come and just highlight something.
ચેરપર્સન ડૉક્ટર શીતલબેન, દિલીપભાઈ, મુક્તાબેન, મારા ફેકલ્ટીના ડીન શ્રી ડૉક્ટર રામગોપાલસિંહજી, વિભાગીય અધ્યક્ષ ડૉક્ટર અતુલભાઈ, દિવેશભાઈ, ગાંધી દર્શન વિભાગના ડીન શ્રી ડૉક્ટર પ્રેમાનંદભાઈ, અનિલભાઈ અને કોન્ફરન્સમાં જોડાયેલા મારા સૌ સાથી મિત્રો, આપે કેડિલા ફાર્માના CSR દ્વારા થતી જુદી જુદી પ્રવૃત્તિ વિશે જોયા. હું પણ છેલ્લા લગભગ 3 વર્ષથી કેડિલા ફાર્મા સાથે 3 વર્ષથી જોડાયો છું અને દિલીપભાઈનું જે વ્યક્તિત્વ મેં જોયું છે, એમના કાર્યકર્તાઓ જે છે એમને કામ પ્રત્યેની નિષ્ઠા મેં જોઈ છે, તેમ લાગે કે ગાંધીનું કામ આજે પણ સતત વધતું જાય છે. વધારે સમય લેતો નથી, પરંતુ થોડીક વાત તમારી પાસે મૂકવી જોઈએ. કારણ કે ગાંધીને જ્યારે ગ્લોબલની વાત કરી છે તો શરૂઆત 1915થી કરવી જોઈએ કે બાપુ જ્યારે દક્ષિણ આફ્રિકાથી ભારતમાં આવ્યા ત્યારે આશ્રમ ક્યાં બનાવવો, કામની શરૂઆત ક્યાંથી કરવી એ પ્રશ્ન એમને વધારે મૂંઝવતો હતો. પરંતુ દિલીપભાઈ કહ્યું તે પ્રમાણે જે દાન જોઈએ, જે સખાવત જોઈએ એ ગુજરાતમાંથી સૌથી વધુ પ્રાપ્ત થાય એમ હતું. એટલે કોચરબ આશ્રમની શરૂઆત 1915માં પૂજ્ય બાપુએ ગુજરાતમાંથી કરી. સાથે સાથે જ્યારે આપણે આ ભૂમિ પર બેઠા છીએ એ વિશે પણ વિચાર કરવો જોઈએ કે 1920માં જ્યારે વિદ્યાપીઠની સ્થાપના કરવાની, રાષ્ટ્રીય શિક્ષણ આપવાની જ્યારે વાત કરી તો શરૂઆત ક્યાંથી કરવી, સખાવત કોણ આપશે, કેવી રીતે શરૂઆત કરવી. તે વખતે આપ તો વિદ્યાપીઠ પરથી ઘણા બધા પરિચિત પણ છો, વિદ્યાપીઠની આ ધરતી ઉપર ફરો છો પણ ખરા, તો આપણે જોવું જોઈએ કે 1920માં પ્રાણજીવદાસ મહેતાએ આપણને મકાન બનાવવા માટેની તે સમયે સખાવત આપી હતી અને આજે પ્રાણજીવન ભવન આપણી વચ્ચે અડીખમ પણ ઊભું છે. એનાથી પણ આગળ ત્યારે બાપુએ કોર્પોરેટ સેક્ટરના જમનાદાસ બજાજને પણ પોતાના પુત્ર માન્યા હતા અને પુત્રના નામ ઉપરથી આપણે ગાંધી દર્શન વિભાગનું જમનાદાસ બજાજ ભવન આપણે ઊભું કર્યું છે. મિત્રો કહેવાનો મતલબ એટલો જ છે કે ગાંધીનું જ્યારે કામ કરતા હોય એ ત્યારે સખાવત આપનાર પણ કેટલાક છે, જે કોર્પોરેટ જગત પણ છે, અને એમને પાસે પૈસા છે, આપણી પાસે કામ પ્રત્યેની નિષ્ઠા છે, લાગણી છે, લગાવ છે. હું એટલા માટે કહું છું કે છેલ્લા 3 વર્ષથી કેડિલા ફાર્મા સાથે, આપણા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ સાથે જુદા જુદા રૂરલ કેમ્પની અંદર અમે ગયા છીએ. તો 7-7 દિવસના આપણે જ્યારે કેમ્પ કર્યા છે ત્યારે એક જુદું વાતાવરણ ગામની અંદર જે બાપુ ઈચ્છતા હતા, જે રામ રાજ્યની કલ્પના કરતા હતા, એ બધા જ કામ કોર્પોરેટ સાથે મળીને આપણે કરીએ છીએ. અને આપણે જ્યારે આ સીડી જોઈ હશે તો આપણે ખ્યાલ આવ્યો હશે કે એક માત્ર કેડિલા કંપની એના CSR ફંડ દ્વારા કેટલું બધું કામ કરે છે. અને અમે જ્યારે આ વાત ઉપર અમારા ફેકલ્ટીના મેમ્બર સાથે વાત કરતા ત્યારે મને એમ થયું કે આપણે એક્સટેન્શનના ભાગરૂપે એક CSRનો કોર્સ શરૂ કરવો જોઈએ. કારણ કે આજે પણ કોર્પોરેટ સેક્ટરની અંદર આવા તાલીમબદ્ધ કાર્યકર્તાઓની ખાસ જરૂરિયાત છે. અને છેલ્લા 2 વર્ષની અંદર અમે લગભગ 3 બેચ અમે શરૂ કરી. અને મને આનંદ એટલા માટે છે કે અનિલભાઈ જે છે આપણા પરિવારના છે, એ પણ એક વિદ્યાર્થી તરીકે જોડાયા. અને આજે આપણી જે કંઈ કામની જે સુવાસ છે એના પરિપાક રૂપે આપણને CSR કેડિલા આપણી સાથે જોડાયું છે, કોર્પોરેટ સાથે જોડાયું છે. એ આપણા સૌના માટે આનંદની બાબત છે. અને આપણે કામની સુવાસ જે છે, જે આપણે 3 કેમ્પ કર્યા ગયા વર્ષે, અને એ જે સુવાસ છે એ અમને જોઈ છે કે વિદ્યાપીઠના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ, કાર્યકર્તાઓ જે કામ કરે છે તે બહુ મહત્ત્વનું છે. મિત્રો થોડાક સ્ટેટિસ્ટિકલ ફિગર પણ ગઈકાલે હું નેટ ઉપર બેસતો હતો ત્યારે મને લાગ્યું કે આ ફિલ્ડ બહુ જ મોટું છે. એટલે ગાંધીનું કામ જ્યારે કરવું હોય તો ઘણો બધો અવકાશ એની અંદર છે. આજે દેશમાં લગભગ 2021-22ના મેં જે સ્ટેટિસ્ટિકલ ડેટા જોયા તો લગભગ આખા દેશમાં 14,694 જેટલી કંપનીઓનું CSR ફંડ આવે છે. એટલે લગભગ 15,000 કંપનીઓ એના CSR ફંડની અંદર આપે છે, અને એમાંથી સામાજિક ઉત્તરદાયિત્વ નિભાવવામાં આવે છે. એ બહુ મોટું કામ છે. અને એમાં લગભગ અંદાજે 26,000 કરોડ રૂપિયા જેટલો ખર્ચ આ કંપનીઓ દ્વારા થાય છે. કંપની પૈસા આપે છે, પણ કામ તો છેવટે આપણે કરવાનું છે. અને આપણે એટલે ગાંધીના વિચાર સાથે, એના કાર્યો સાથે જોડાયેલા લોકોએ કરવાનું છે. અને એટલા માટે આ વિભાગ દ્વારા CSRનો 3 મહિનાનો હાઇબ્રિડ મોડમાં કોર્સ શરૂ કર્યો છે કે વધુમાં વધુ કામ થાય. વર્ગ શિક્ષણની સાથે સાથે આવા કેટલાક શિક્ષણની પણ તાતી આવશ્યકતાઓ છે. મારી સાથે ખાસ કરીને નેશનલ લેવલે પણ છે, થોડોક સમયનો અભાવ છે, એટલે હું ગુજરાતમાં જુદી જુદી કંપનીઓ કેટલો ખર્ચ કરે છે એ વિશે વાત તમારી પાસે મૂકવી જોઈએ કે ગુજરાતમાં પણ અવકાશ બહુ મોટો છે. સૌથી વધુ ગુજરાતમાં ITC કંપની જે છે એને 93 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ કર્યો છે. મારુતિ સુઝુકીએ 36.06 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ કર્યો છે. નિરમાએ 28.87 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ કર્યો છે. ONGCએ 28.86 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ કર્યો છે. પાવર ગ્રીડે 33.61 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ કર્યો છે. અને કેડિલાએ 22.92 કરોડ રૂપિયા ખર્ચ ગુજરાતમાં કર્યો છે. એટલે આપણે સમજી શકીએ છીએ કે સમાજના છેવાડા વ્યક્તિ સુધી જે ગાંધીની કલ્પના હતી ત્યાં સુધી કેડિલા ફાર્મા કામ કરે છે. એ બહુ આનંદની એચીવ આપે એવી વાત છે. અને હું એના માટે એમની ટીમને હું અભિનંદન આપું છું અને આભાર પણ વ્યક્ત કરું છું કે ખૂબ મોટું કામ આપ કરો છો. અને જરૂર પડે તો અમને અમારો સહયોગ તમે લેજો. એમના જે પણ કાર્યો છે એની વાત પણ દિલીપે ખૂબ સરસ ઝીણવટપૂર્વક કરી છે. હું કેડિલા CSRનો આભારી પણ છું, મુક્તાબેન પણ આભારી છું. ગઈકાલે તમે જોયું હશે કે આપણે ત્યાં ખમાર સાહેબ પણ આવ્યા હતા અને એમનું કામ આપણે જોયું, બહુ મોટું કામ છે. એ બહુ જ સામાન્ય માણસ લાગે, પણ જ્યારે ડોનેટની વાત આવે અને એની અંદર જે વસ્તુ પેટર્ન જે એમની પાસે છે તો આપણે એમ લાગે એમની પાસે ટાઈમ પણ નહીં હોય, અને છતાં પણ આપણી પાસે આવ્યા, આપણને વાત કરી, આપણે પ્રોત્સાહિત કર્યા. એટલે હું આખા વિભાગ વતી, વિદ્યાપીઠ વતી એમના પ્રત્યે આભારની લાગણી પણ વ્યક્ત કરું છું. દિલીપભાઈ પ્રત્યે પણ આભારની લાગણી વ્યક્ત કરું છું. અને આપ સૌ જોડાયા છો તો આપણે બધા જ એક મંચ થઈ અને ગાંધીના કામને આગળ લઈ જઈએ. આભાર.
Thank you, Sahib. And again, I propose the vote of thanks for the entire panelists and chairman and throwing light on the CSR activities of Cadila Pharma and gracing our time and just delivering a successful session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. There is only one instruction for audience. We are just, because of overlapping time, we are just continuing the session here. We have some international scholars of Gandhian departments. They will make their presentations here. Okay? Thank you very much, sir. So I request the new presenters, paper presenters, and panel members to come and okay.
Right. We are in the next session. This is international participants presentation. For the paucity of time, we are dividing this presentation into two halves. Four presentations will happen in this session, and rest of 5 or 6 presentation will happen after the lunch. I request the participants to come and be on the dais. First presentation will be by Laure and Claire from France. Then Kevin, please come on. Then Andrea. And Enid. Yeah, please come and sit on the dais. The session will be chaired by Dr. Atul Kumar Parmar, Head, Department of English and convener of the conference. And the first, I request, yeah, you can start. You can begin. Yeah, you can come in. And each participant will have 10 minutes.
Hello, my name is Laure and her name is Claire and we are from France. And so we wanted to present, do a cross presentation about the influence of Gandhi in France. And so we want to answer the question, how do Gandhi's ideas inspire citizen movements to build non-violence society in France? So France discovered Gandhi's idea mostly thanks to 2 big events, his conference in Paris in 1931, and 2 big main characters of French history, named Romain Rolland and Lanza del Vasto, who led to the emergence of a lot of movements, non-violent movements in the 19th. And nowadays in France there are a lot of non-violent movements. And so in this presentation, we want to show you that this movement and Gandhi's legacy can be found thanks to in like 2 big concepts. The first one is thank you. The concept of non-violence as a mean for like social and political revendication. And the second is Swaraj, which is like implemented by some community in France. So some concepts, no. Can you go back? Thank you. Some concepts such as self-suffering or brahmacharya have been like not that much, don't have that much influence in France now. So this presentation will be based on Mila, which is like a faith character, and her path of commitment, which is influenced by different movements that like use Gandhi's idea in order to transform the French society. So I will begin first to present the non-violent contest movements for social and political change, and then Claire, she's going to present some civic collective who are transforming the local society, and which can be being in parallel with Swaraj. So yeah, thank you. So our character is Mila. And first of all, she's like apolitical. So she's 50 years old. She works in a like industrial company. She's not really into politics. She's not involved in social movements. And at what point in her life she like struggled? She had some. She faces some economic struggle. And so one day she looks and she like see in the TV channel, TV media channel, there are some protests in France, and I don't know what you know about France, but usually when we travel, people say, French people, you don't work a lot, you're always protesting like in the streets, which is not 100% true, but which has like some reality. So we can see here a lot of historical protests in France, and one of the biggest one is the Yellow Vest. I don't know if you heard about it. It was a movement which started in like 2018. He was unstructured, so it means there was no one leader. And he was protesting like every Saturday during 33 weeks. And he was against, like, at the beginning, against the rises of the price of the fuel. And then more globally, he came into like protesting against how governments were like leading the country now and asking for more democracy. And so for that, Mila, she discovered this protest, and so she thinks like, okay, that's something happening in France. And to look into Gandhi's idea, like we can see protest as something, and the use of media as something to highlight like the violence and the structural violence. So then a friend of Mila's invites her to like this kind of social events and historical events who are like protesting against some structural violence. So some of them in France are like the Nuit debout, which is one of the most known in France, will take place in 2016, if I don't mistake. And which is like, firstly, again, the one big labor reform in France, and then mostly was against as the other movement, against the economical system. And basically, it was like people occupying public spaces during night and for a long period of time, as longer as possible. And so Mila decided to take part of this movement. And so she discovered that first she's not the only one feeling and facing what she's facing, like economical issues and some other problems. And she discovered the existence of a lot of movements, a lot of initiatives who are use nonviolence as action to contest the current system and the like government and institution in the country. So after discovering it, she decided to get involved in some movements and some associations which are using nonviolent action to like fight against the system. And it's really like this step, is really she gets involved and really against the system. She really strikes to ask government to make some change, to have more like equality being people, to have more economic, like better economic situation and stuff. And so in France, there are a lot of organizations and movements who are using nonviolent action to ask government to make some change, government and institution. So for example, you have NAV COP21, which is like a group which were created in 2015, and who have like as an objective to the emergence of a massive citizen movement to tackle especially the climate change issues. And for that, they're using different action, like civil disobedience, public action, protests, boycotts, etc., like which are action really used and theorized and used by Gandhi. Next. So she's being engaged in this group for a long period of time, for many years. And after these many years, she discovered that they're not that much changed. Like the society is there are still a lot of inequality in the system, still a lot of injustice. So she goes through this process, like depression and eco-anxiety. For example, the Yellow Vests, so the movement, the first movement I present, they were asking for the inclusion of the citizen initiative referendum in the constitution. They were asking for the introduction of wealth tax or the creation of citizens' assembly. And it didn't occur. The government didn't listen. And so there is still no, for example, citizens' assembly. And so she became more and more depressed. She thinks that her action is not worth it or is not working. And in France and around the world, we have like this phenomenon called eco-anxiety, which is like being really depressed about like the climate change and feel that it's not going to change. And so being really anxious about it. And for example, in France in 2022, there were like 2.5 million people who were eco-anxious and who have to go to a professional to go through this anxiety. And so she's depressed and she thinks that her action is not worth it. But one day, a friend of her invited her to discovering alternative way of life. And we have a big association in France called Alternativa, which organizes alternative village, which is the goal of it is to show people alternative and show that they can change their way of life, but also like change the society thanks to like different actions and different movements. For example, this alternative village takes place in many places in France. Everyone can create and organize one. And the main objective is like to show alternative to most of the people. And he goes to different areas, such as agriculture, ecology, energy, finance, etc. And the goal of it is to inspire people and to make them change in their own life. And it's an alternative to mostly capitalism. Thank you. And so she decided to change her daily life. Thanks to that, she encountered a lot of initiatives. For example, one of it is the Association for the Preservation of Peasant Agriculture, which is connected directly the agriculture and the people who consume without intermediary. Sorry for my English sometimes. And so, the goal is to first assure the agriculture that we have clients and to help people to have access to local and organic food. And so Mila, she starts to change her daily life thanks to this kind of initiative. But this step, she doesn't still, questioning her entire life. Like she's not questioning a job, she's not questioning the fact to live in a city, she's not questioning a belief, but she discovers some principle of Gandhi, like sobriety, like the non-possession, the control of desire, Swadeshi, etc. So now it was like really, because 10 minutes is short, it was really like fast presentation of all these kind of movements in France who are using non-violence as a mean, like to political and social change. And now I let Claire talk to show you another initiative. Thank you.
So after changing her lifestyle, her way of life, consuming less, have organic food and stuff like that, most of the Milas at this stage have like two ways she can focus on one specific issue and be part of an association, an NGO in France, or she can change her society more like holistically. And for this, she can be part of that we call citizens collective in France. This is a group of citizens who want to do ecological transition and to create more solidarity locally. So like in their town, if they are in big city or in their village. And so because of these groups are creating a form of society who really looks like Swaraj, we will focus on this group. So now, for Mila discover this kind of group, discover that there is like alternative society, and this is possible that she can change this society by herself with her neighbor. She has to meet this citizens group. So there is some organization that you can see who help this citizen group to organize events, to be connected with the local inhabitants. So one of these organization, Anciela, with this organization, I'm helping myself to help this citizen group to organize movie debates. So I help us to communicate well to the inhabitants people. And then at these events, they watching a movie who show like alternative ideas, alternative system. And after this, the participants discuss with this group of citizen collective which kind of action they can act locally by themselves. And usually after this event, most of the participants be part of the group. So now Mila, she's in collective, citizens collective. So when Mila joined a citizens group, she learned how to set up action and projects that change the society with this group. So she learned the art of self-governance, self-organization, and the rules decided by this group, which are also principles of Swaraj. And here she is also embarking a process of popular education, political education, because she learned how to change society without the representative people. And in France, there is, as you can see, this number, a lot of citizens collective, because this is a good way to cure from eco-anxiety, because human brain thinks that when they act for act, even if it's a little and very local act, they think they cure about eco-anxiety. So there is many groups now in France. And for example, the Dardilly and Transition Citizen Group, which is a group in the district of Lyon, a city of France. This group have a sociocracy, organic governance system. So they are divided in little groups who are focused on one action and decide by themselves for this action, but for decision concerning the collective, they decide by consensus. Okay, so Mila also needs to work with elected representative people. So with this group, she learned that we can compare to do a parallel with Satyagraha. In this step, she really learned to work with representative people, because in France, the whole cities, because of administrative and their institutional statute is very long to change society. So it's better that the citizens group do it. But from some action, the citizens group needs the approbation from the mayors of the city. So there is many organizations in France who help this connection between the representative people, the economic actor of the locality, and the inhabitants. And one of them, Fréquence Commune, help this collective to be part of a municipal election. And like this, they can better change the society and more quickly because there is this link connection. So now Milan learned to change society with the representative elected people. Yes. And so with this group, they create like the economical Swaraj, alternative coffee, foods, also production of foods, a lot of alternative. And for example, Nantes en commun, these groups are created their own electricity. The members are doing their own food, their own drinks. They have also their own craft workshop, and they make decisions together. And so they create like an autonomy and an emancipation from the global system model, the capitalist model. And then Mila will participate at construction site projects. Many people from ecological people, because now Mila, she's ecological activist, but she still lives in the city. And a lot of people living in city but are ecologic participate to this kind of events and discover the rural area, the labor way of life, and the ashram, because they are constructing, they're going to rural area to construct like we call eco-village, but it looks like an ashram with less spiritual part, we can say. But there is this autonomy and stuff like that. So, so many organizations also organize this kind of constructive sit. And for example, my mother decided to live in eco-village because she did this, and 10 members of her eco-village joined her because of this action. And then Mila decided to live in community, so she learned how to live in community. She joined La Communauté de l'Arche. This is a community created by the Lanza del Vasco. He's an Italian guys who are disciples of Gandhi. Travel a little bit with Gandhi. Yeah, okay. So I will be fast. And and so in this community, she learned how to live in community, how to resolve conflict, how to be independent, to produce by the emancipation and stuff like that. And so she lived in the eco-village then. So now she has a way of life of Gandhi. Yeah, maybe this is the part more close to the autobiography of Gandhi. She experiments with the truth. She analyzes what she is doing, and there is many organizations who help this eco-village to live, to resolve conflict in the eco-village, to manage with administrative, like Colibri. And also she acts on the local society because she sells her vegetables and fruits. But the member of eco-village also propose alternative education, alternative health system. And then she shares her way of life with other people. There is many media who share how looks the life of Mila, but also actor of changement society. And there is also books. And so Mila, by her life, can inspire apolitical people who was like her before. And the last step that we are facing in France since maybe 5 years, the activists like Mila have a lack of energy because they are always against the society, the systems, always promoting non-violence, so it needs a lot of energy. So they discover like the spirituality part to connect to something bigger, and like this they have more energy. So Mila participates to inner transition. We call it inner transition from Joanna Messi, and she's doing mostly the part like Gandhi. Yeah, sorry, this is the last slide. The self-realization and stuff like that. And the last slide, the conclusion. So we can say that the processus from apolitical to spiritual ecologic activists, the way of life of Gandhi, this is a mix between these three parts. She started by political popular education, then she transformed the local society and her way of life, and at the end she realized self-realization, which is the ultimate truth like Gandhi. And each part is very important because the human brain have to do a grieving process of a society. They have to do the grieving of of a world that a consumerist system, capitalist system is not working anymore, so we have to change it. And so each part is important, and it's finished. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. As we've heard, the French, they really like to protest. In Germany, people like to stick to the rules, but we also have some Gandhian influence in Germany. Yeah, let's see if I can stick to the time frame also. 10 minutes, okay, starting now. Yesterday, the question came up, where are Gandhi and his thinking actively ignored today? Where is Gandhi's culture of peace and conflict transformation discarded as something impossible or idealistic? And I think that in mapping Gandhi, it is important to include this perspective because, in essence, this does justice to the central drive that influenced his actions. There's this nice quote from Tolstoy: "If public opinion would but frown upon violence, it would lose all its power." So mapping Gandhi, for me, is to keep thinking in his lines, to further develop, refine, and adapt his ideas to individual, local, and cultural contexts. And this thinking can only evolve in confronting his ideas with the violent challenges we face today. Gandhi stands for active nonviolence, that is, a constant commitment to counter violence peacefully and creatively. And I would say this is like the cultural imprint that is informing active nonviolence in Germany. And I want to present, if you could go to the next slide, just 3 projects which mostly work based on this thinking. And there's the Institute for Peace Work and Nonviolent Conflict Transformation, which is a research center which focuses on nonviolence. There's a new project now coming up in journalism, which wants to create a new website informing about nonviolence and nonviolence inspiring stories across the world. And there's a campaign which mostly influenced by the war in Ukraine, and which is going on for a year now, which wants to develop civilian defense in Germany. Okay. The Institute for Peace Work and Nonviolent Conflict Transformation was founded in 1991, and it is a civil society organization which is composed basically of different researchers from different areas which are independent and which are united by this interest in researching nonviolence. They are mostly engaged not only in research but also in practical peace work, which is a nice combination of like getting ideas, combining theory and practice. The goals of the institution are learning, understanding, and acting nonviolence, to be an active part of the global movement for social justice, peace, and the preservation of resources for human life. As I said, they want to connect theory and practice, connect
what you learn about in research about nonviolence with the movements, with the initiatives which work locally. And they want to take part actively in public debates, scientific debates, and make these concepts, these methods of nonviolence more broadly known and develop them. This institution is connected to some other institutions which are known on the international sphere, like, for example, War Resisters International, the International Fellowship of Reconciliation, Nonviolent Peace Force, Peace Brigade International, just to name a couple of them. So the activities of the organizations are organizing conferences where research can be presented and discussed. They publish own research and translate research that appears in different languages into German. They offer workshops, lecturing, and training on nonviolence for different groups and movements. There are also here some examples of what have been the foci of the research. So one of the projects was criticizing the German military involvement in Afghanistan, for example, and also criticizing the evaluation of this military involvement, because oftentimes it's like, okay, it didn't work, but we need to do it again, and to say, well, military involvement didn't work, and like find out the reasons. And then there's this focus now, especially on civilian defense, and how to develop this further, how to experiment with it, and what communities need actually for civilian defense. Right, next slide. Coming to journalism, there's this new project I talked about. They want to create a website with articles about nonviolence, social movement, and constructive conflict transformation. They want to do this with a different kind of journalism, peace journalism, which is not connected to any like economic or business goals. So non-profit journalism financed by mostly donations. So to ensure to really advocate the interests of civil society. The contents will be stories, interviews, reports, theoretical analyses, commentaries. So to also create a space of learning and discussion for movements, for initiatives, but also for science. And the basic topics are nonviolent struggles around environmental protection, justice, diversity, gender equality, peace, conflict, democracy, and human rights. The website is to be launched in 2024. That's the last information that's missing. Okay, next one. And last, but not least, this campaign, which is called Wehrhaft ohne Waffen, Defense Without Weapons, which was launched almost a year ago, and is very active with these experiments with and organizing social defense capabilities in Germany. They work in different groups across the country, but there are 3 model regions, which are bigger groups of people also connected to some social civil society initiatives. They meet regularly, they analyze the problems in their regions and try to connect these relations and organization base that you need for countering violence in a non-violent way, but also to be able to defend democracy, to defend especially their living standard, their way of life, their culture in case of military aggression. Furthermore, this platform also informs about social defense, like informs about the different historic cases there were, if it was Denmark during the Second World War or the Czech Republic during Soviet occupation, to discuss these and bring them into the public debate. And yes, that's basically it. Maybe to conclude, I like to put it also in connection with Gandhi again and mapping Gandhi. So we have this research part, which is basically focusing on an analysis of structural violence and on designing creative and constructive ways to address these, which you could also call, in a way, like academic pacifism. Then there's the journalist part, which is kind of connected to what Gandhi did with his projects of Indian Opinion or Harijan, where he was trying to educate the public and bring these concepts and methods of nonviolence to a broader audience. And finally, with social defense, we have a connection with his ideas about nonviolent defense, and especially then the focus to counter, physical violence in particular, and which connects then to organizations like the Shanti Sena and their history. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
Hi, hello. I'm not the best at speaking in English, but I will do my best. And also, I will support me in a document that I created. And I want to share some I worked since 7 years ago. So first, I want to say also thank you at the Department of English for inviting us, because for me it was an opportunity for think about how Gandhi is in Mexico, like doing this mapping. So I will go to the generals in Mexico and the particular in a project that I working. So the next, please. Well, in Mexico, we have like many examples of the influence of Gandhi. For example, yes, this is only like the part of mapping how Gandhi is important in other countries. For example, one of our main bookstores that we have in the country before? It's another presentation, but it's okay, no problem. The next. Yes, we have like also influence with conference, institutes, the name on no violence actions. Even that one of most important bookstores at the national level is called Gandhi, at least in 15 of the 32 states that we have in Mexico. And also in Mexico, at least in Mexico City, that we are from Mexico City, we have a monument that was inaugurated in 1960. And also we have a Metrobus station with Gandhi name. But well, now in a context about violence that we have in Mexico, when we think in Gandhi generally, we think about building peace, and it's like a fundamental role in advising towards independence. But the part of nonviolence, as we saw that ahimsa, some moments the people don't know about what is nonviolence, because like according of interpretation of the context and speak from perspective of Mexico, when we say nonviolence, we think in the absence of violence. Like, for example, Johann Galtung precisely that he calls negative building peace. But it's difficult to point in the presence of the other aspect, like cooperation or a community unity. That in this sense, as returning to the contextual framework of Mexico, is it important to talk about the reality that we are currently experiencing. Of course, each country has like our own problems and issues marked by geographical, political, social aspects. But in case of Mexico, violence is shown at different levels, also like Johann Galtung proposed, like an structural violence, culture violence, but some of the direct violence that we can see in Mexico, well, I just will go to mention some. Like, for example, in Mexico we reside many migrant people that consider, and now it's like a humanitarian crisis, because they encounter problems with yes, the conditions in the country has not been developed care for our state. That's the reason that at a local level, many civil society organizations have chosen to take action due to the lack of response for the state, which has not been able to generate enough strategies to address this violence. Some of these groups that I'm talking about are like, for example, families that are searching missing people, also feminist groups, activists from veganism, also activists against climate change, human rights defenders, and people who accompany migrants, both the transit or that they are looking for a residence. But in all these contexts about the construction of peace is when I decide to choose the collective, because yes, the collective started like for 2014, but I added 2017 when I was a student. So about how to collective arise. Before I joined, there has a history with the work of other colleagues who have passed also to this university in the same course, for example, Alma Patricia, Poncho, Monica. But yes, however, the collective arise because in my bachelor degree, that is about intercultural development and management, we had a subject about building peace and non-violence, and was like a key meet my professor Pietro Ameglio, and we developed the project about shared workshop, research, graphic campaigns, and publication. Yes, the next, please. So I want to point in workshops that also we call experiments, and this is one of the subjects that we take in each workshops. On the topics, you can see that we also take some topics that we are important to Gandhi at the time. And well, we believe that the reflection in itself is a non-violent action, since it is the first step for normalize the violence in our environment. So also in our workshops, we have different topics adapt according to the population that which it directed. And also we call experiments because just as Gandhi thought us that our life itself is a laboratory, also we think that education spaces are a laboratory. Next, please. We have three main principles in our collective that, for example, the reality principle help us to understand the context and needs of the communities with which they work. Here, the equalization principle, we are not talking about to eliminating the diversity of people. On the contrary, it's important to recognize the difference and from the build horizontal relationships. Okay, and also I want to share that is, for example, we used to sit in circle, but it's not enough for build a relationship or horizontal. It's important to hear between us. And the next, please, I want to do the link with the Gandhian principles, because he taught about education, community unity, and for example, in our workshop, we used to clean our space like a dignified place for work. And well, we have also like wait, just a minute, please. Yes, we believe that, like Gandhi, that a school system that teaches subjects is not enough. We want to add issues about non-violence that teach us, for example, how to resolve conflicts. And finally, I want to say that this course helped me to think more about how we can add at our workshop and our work inside the collective, how to work better with strategies non-violence. And I think that we have a lot of left to continue working. So if you want to searching us in social media, you can do it, because I wanted to say more things, but the time is enough for now. But thank you for hearing me.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to try to be as fast as I can. But the timing puts me a little bit nervous, so please be patient. Okay. So I'm Enid. I'm Enid from Mexico. And I would like to talk to you about the promotion of Satyagraha as a way of life in Mexico. In this case, I'm going to talk about the work of Satyagraha as a model of non-formal education with Gandhian values. Okay, so can we change the... Thank you. First of all, I would like to point out the power of education in peace building in a violent environment, which is Mexico. Gandhi's philosophy of education, experiments in Gandhian non-formal education in Mexico, and this example, Satyagraha Institute, and the pedagogic relevance of Gandhian Satyagraha for epistemological decolonization in Mexico. Okay, I'm not going to read that. You can read it if you want. But basically, what I want to highlight in this presentation is the importance of education in a violent context in Mexico, which sadly, Mexico is a country that faces a lot of struggles within security, safety for women, for men, for children, for everybody. So how can you contrast this problematic based on non-violence principles? Next one. A couple of the main problematics that we face are economic inequalities, corruption, lack of participation in civic processes due to distrust of the government, and high levels of violence. Mexico is a country where violence is a reality every day. The strengthening of education for the creation of a community training nonviolent values can be a fundamental element in the construction of peace. And okay, so you can see only 4 of the points that I'm pointing out, but we have a lot more in Mexico. So education is only one of the points that we can work with to evolve in this problematic. Next one. Thank you. So some of the links between Gandhian education and peace building. So at the bottom of the iceberg, what we can find is that education is important in Mexico. Why? Because it encourages critical thinking and conflict resolution. It engages constructive debates and dialogues, promotes negotiation and problem-solving techniques, raises awareness and inspires to action, cultivates a sense of social responsibility, and understand the different perspective of epistemic knowledge within the world. And this last one is really special for me because I think that one of the most important points that Gandhi brings to the world is this perspective or non-Western civilization in the schools, in the practical life, and even in our inner life. And how can we see this? Mainly because there's a quote that says that illustration brings to the Western civilization between commas, the capacity to think and to achieve knowledge with theoretical manners, right? But in other countries, and for example, now in India, this society is looking for this or searching for this knowledge based in the inner life and based in how can you find through yourself. And this is something really different because it's not something that we see commonly in our countries. It's not something that is developed. And it's really shocking to come here to India and then realize that all the theory that we're learning in the school is also complementary with how do we manage our inner life and how do we complement with our values, with our principles and our practice in everyday life. Now I would like to talk to you about our experiments in Gandhian non-formal education in Mexico and Satyagraha Institute. Well, Satyagraha Institute is an NGO that was founded in 2013 in South Dakota, in the United States. And the main idea of this NGO was to promote education, non-formal education, which means that it is not provided by a governmental institution. So it's independent, but it looks for to promote the non-violence education. And basically what we do is to promote trainings in different parts of Mexico and now in the world. Also in Gambia, in the United States, different states of Mexico. And thank you. The basis of the informal education in Satyagraha Institute are the academic tradition, activist tradition, and religious tradition. And why these 3 are important? Because to build a character is essential and elemental that we can find this link between academics, inner life, and different perspectives. And there's something that I want to tell you. Without academic rigor, one can miss the critical analysis and historical context. Without activist skills, one can miss the competence to transform understanding and vision into reality. And without inner life, we leave behind our catalyst for transforming relationships and communities. And this is so important because one only can coexist with the other to build a real change or a real mindset about peace and nonviolence. Gandhi's philosophy of education is linked with Satyagraha because we try to make in these trainings different strategies to fulfill all these skills that we need in an individual and in a community. First of all, we have something called breed labor, which means that if you're living in a community, then you have to learn how to earn your own things, how to develop the strategies to negotiate
to bring from the earth the things that you need, for example. So breed labor is basically how can you work to achieve the things that you want, but with conscious about the origin of these things, for example, food, the working community, how you communicate to bring the things that you need into your house or in the community life. Community life is also linked because it's related with the idea of ashrams in India, but now we are trying to apply it through living in a community for different days. More or less the trainings are like 15 days, so you have the opportunity to get to know the other participants and to have more knowledge about how can you face tolerance between different environments. Like, for example, now, in an international batch where we are from different countries and we have to face these different in culture, in language, even to come here and speak in a different language than us. Tolerance between different ages, places, and contexts. Inner life, which I already talked about. Life skills, which are really important to develop the personality and the character of a person, and art and peace, which is so important for Satyagraha Institute because we find a link between arts and the development of the personality based in how can you create this sensibility with the expressions that you have with your body, with your soul, while writing, while dancing, while expressing all your feelings or your emotions through art. And then you can see that we have, super fast, we have attention to scholarship, attention to strategy, and attention to inner life, as I mentioned before. Next one, thank you. I'm going to be super fast. Okay, so we have all the principles of Gandhian education that you already know, but also I wanted to tell you about the relevance of Satyagraha for epistemological decolonization in Mexico. Last one. I don't know why this is still there. Sorry. But cultural resilience and reclamation. Why? Because Gandhi promoted that with Kadi, we could support not only like the local economy, but also the creativity or art crafts, celebrating and preserving the cultural identity. And also, all of this is linked with epistemological decolonization because it contributes to the frameworks imposed by colonialism about how can we change this speech and this perspective based in what India, for example, has to bring to the world by its global influence with movements like non-violence movement, which promotes civil rights, anti-colonial struggles, social justice worldwide, and the international recognition of these ideas is also to not only recognize, but to legitimize the fight that we are doing to have a place in these spaces of discussion, which is really important because we don't have it most of the time. Even as Mexicans, our academy is not present in the world like Europeans or like, for example, France is so famous for being political active, to go to strikes, to go on the streets, to take all this participation to face and to hit all the fights, the social fights. And in Mexico, we are in our way to have this visibility. But it's also important to talk about it because it's the start to face all the problematics, as we say, like violence, but then to start having this voice in the problematics that we're facing. And last but not least, moral and spiritual foundation. The last one. Because without root in moral and spiritual principles, how can we appeal to be empathetic with more people? How can we appeal to bring education to different countries if we are not able to see in ourselves and to build communities, to think about moral awakening and community commitment? Because if you're not committed to your process and to the community and the problems that we're facing, then you cannot build any community. And in the case of Mexico, this is all linked because it's important to bring all these values from the very beginning to the people, which is not only training in schools, but in non-formal education, so we can have a different perspective of the movements, and that's it. Thank you.
Morning, friends. It was a really tough time for me to maintain the time limit, but we are running short of time. Already we have taken 18 more minutes in this session. So we had 5 different presentations from 3 different countries, and how they have occupied Gandhian thought in that cultural and social life. We have understood it very well. At present, there is no time to take questions and queries. I request all the participants to have their ideas and their discussions with them during the lunch. Right now, we are going to have a 5-minute break of tea, and then we will once again accommodate here for the new session. All the 3 plenary speakers are here, so we are not going to waste the time. Just we have 5 minutes or break for tea, and once again we will reassemble in this hall. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ayub? Ayub? टाइटल तो राकेश बोलायला होतं त्याला चलो आमना मध्ये कुशल होती बदल लागेलच છે શું થયું હવે કામ કર તો 2 મિનિટ આવી હવે કામ કર તો 2 મિનિટ હું મુખ્ય કાર્યાલયમાં જઈને તું જોઈ લેજે હું આવું
હા હજી જ્યારે કાલે સવારનો છે તો ડિનર કરીને લેજો ને તેમાં હું ગુજરાત કાલે આવ્યો છે મુખ્ય કાર્યાલય બગર attorney picking ચર્ક આવે છે નથી આવતું ચાલે ચાલે
Hello. So I request all my dear students to take their seats. And now, after this brisk tea break, once again we are back here for our third plenary session. And so the chairman of this session is Dr. Prem Mishra sir. Prem Mishra sir to come and take his seat on dais. We have three panelists. Dr. Jagdish Joshi sir, I request him, Professor Dr. Joshi, to come and take seat here. Then we have Dr. Pramod Tiwari sir. Please, Pramod Tiwari sir, please come and we have Dr. Badil Anand. Now those who are standing, please, I request them to take their seats so that we can start this third plenary of our conference. As to take a small gist of our conference, we just opened up this conference in a very live and very nice environment yesterday in inaugural session, and then we have had two plenary sessions and parallel paper presentations where number of papers have been presented and very good debate was done, and we have had really a fruitful discussions, and really I would say till now we had a very nice time with us. So now I request Dr. Atul Parmar sir to introduce chair, and thereby Amrendra will introduce the panelists.
Good morning to all. I welcome all the plenary speakers in this international conference on mapping Gandhi in different cultures across the globe. Today we have as a chair Dr. Prem Anand Mishra, Professor, Dean of Gandhian Studies. He joined Vidyapith way back in 2004, and he has written extensively on Gandhian thought. He is a good reader of all the political theories, especially after 1990s and 2000. He has a versatile understanding of how the violence, especially structural violence, curbs freedom of the society and how it works to create a kind of a conjugate society which in a way going to take democracy in a very wrong path. And that's what we have learned also from his discussions yesterday, that how Gandhi is a very important figure, not only in the 20th century, but also in the 21st century. So I welcome Dr. Premanand Mishra in this session, and I now hand over this whole session to him. Thank you, Premanandji, once again.
Before we begin, we would like to facilitate our plenary speaker. So I request Dr. Atul Parmar to please welcome Professor Jagdish. Then Dr. Pramod Kumar Tiwari. And Dr. Beryl Anand. And now I hand over to Professor Mishra.
Thank you very much. Welcome in the third plenary session, and without spending too much time on formalities, let us begin our some academic work. I would like to invite Professor Jagdish Joshi to speak on a theme that has been decided here. Gandhi on silver screen, a cinematic journey through the life of Mahatma. Sir, we have 15 minutes for every speaker.
Premanand Mishra.
my fellow plenary session speakers, Pramod Kumar Tiwari ji, respected Madam, Dr. Atul Parmar, Divyesh Bhatt, Amrendra ji, all the organizers of this conference, all the invited guests, paper. Friends, today I am going to throw light on Gandhi on silver screen, a cinematic journey through the life of Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to today we embark on cinematic journey that explores the portrayal of Mahatma Gandhi in the world of cinema. Gandhi, the iconic leader of India's independence movement, has exposed him to Western influences, but it was his experience in South Africa that served as a crucible for the development of his philosophy. During his time in South Africa, Gandhi witnessed firsthand the systematic racial discrimination faced by the Indian community. It was there he formulated the concept of satyagraha, a form of non-violence resistance that would become the cornerstone of his activism. His commitment to justice was galvanized through his own experiences of discrimination, laying the groundwork for his future role as a global advocate of civil rights. Gandhi's return to India marked the beginning of active involvement in the country's struggle for independence from British colonial rule. One of the most iconic moments in his endeavor was the Salt March in 1930. In protest against the British monopoly on salt, Gandhi led a 40-mile march to the Arabian Sea, defying the salt tax imposed by British authorities. The Salt March symbolizes the power of non-violent resistance, showcasing Gandhi's ability to mobilize masses and his commitment to the challenging unjust laws through civil disobedience. Gandhi's philosophy of non-violence and civil disobedience had a profound and lasting impact on India's struggle for independence. The Indian National Congress under Gandhi's leadership adopted non-violent resistance as its primary strategy, leading to significant milestones such as independence of India in 1947. The early cinematic depictions of Mahatma Gandhi offer a unique lens through which we can trace the evolution of both filmmaking and public perceptions of one of the most influential figures in modern history. As we journey back to the black and white era of cinema, the portrayal of Gandhi becomes a fascinating exploration of how filmmakers grappled with translating the life and ideas of Mahatma onto the silver screen, and in turn shaped public understanding and relevance of this iconic leader. The earliest cinematic portrayal of Mahatma Gandhi emerged in the early to mid-20th century, a time when a medium was still in the nascent stages of development. These black and white films laid the foundation for subsequent cinematic explorations of Gandhi's life, introducing audience to visual narratives of a man whose principles were challenging to encapsulate with the constraints on the screen. One notable early portrayal was in the film Harishchandra 1928, directed by Dada Saheb Phalke, often considered as the father of Indian cinema. Honesty, mirroring the principles that would later define Gandhi's life. Gandhi Tufan, 1935. The early 1930s shows the release of Gandhi Tufan, 1935, a film that attempted to depict Gandhi's philosophy and his involvement in freedom movement. Directed by Vidyapith, the film faced the challenges of visually translating the abstract concept of non-violence and civil disobedience onto the screen. With limited cinematic tools and technology, filmmakers relied on the power of storytelling and theatrical performances to convey the essence of Gandhi's ideas. These early portrayals, although constrained by technical limitations of the time, laid the groundwork for subsequent filmmakers. The choice of narrative elements, the framing of scenes, and the emphasis on symbolism become crucial in conveying the spirit of Gandhi's philosophy to the audience who were witnessing the birth of cinema as a powerful storytelling medium. In 1937, the film Mahatma Kabir, attempted to weave the principles of Mahatma Gandhi into a narrative that blended historical elements with fictionalized storytelling. The film simplified Gandhi's complex life into more accessible and linear narrative, introducing audience to a more digestive version of Mahatma Gandhi's journey. The simplification of Gandhi's life in these early depictions aimed to make his story more comprehensible to the broad audience. However, this simplification often came to the cost of sacrificing the nuance and complexities of Gandhi's character and philosophy. Filmmakers had to strike a delicate balance between historical accuracy and demand of popular storytelling, shaping public perceptions in the process. The early cinematic portrayal of Gandhi played a pivotal role in shaping public perceptions of Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to talk about cinematic brilliance and global legacy of Gandhi on the screen in Gandhi 1982, Ben Kingslay's transformation. In the pantheon of cinematic masterpieces, Richard Attenborough's Gandhi 1982 stands as the beacon of excellence, offering a profound exploration of Mahatma Gandhi's life and principles. At the heart of cinematic triumph in Ben Kingslay's transformative portrayal of Mahatma, in this section, it dwells on Gandhi, analyzing Kingslay's remarkable performance, evaluating the film's depicting historical event, and examining its far-reaching impact on global understanding of Gandhi's enduring legacy. At the core of Gandhi is Ben Kingslay's extraordinary transformation into a titular character. Kingsley, a British actor of the Indian descent, undertook the monumental task of embodying Mahatma Gandhi's figure, whose physically, mannerism, and spiritual essence presented a formidable challenge to any actor. Kingsley's portrayal transcends the realm of mere performance. It becomes an immersion into the very soul of Gandhi. The actor's dedication to authenticity is evident in his meticulous attention to details, from adopting Gandhi's distinctive voice to mirroring his deliberate gait. Kingsley captures not only the external characteristics but also the inner essence of Gandhi, portraying the reader's vulnerability, resilience, and unwavering commitment to his principles. Richard Attenborough's directorial vision. Richard Attenborough, the director of Gandhi, demonstrated a keen understanding of the historical significance of Gandhi's life and the responsibility that came with bringing him into the screen. Attenborough's directorial vision encompassed not only a biographical account of events, but also a nuanced exploration of Gandhi's philosophy and impact on the world. The film unfolds as an epic narrative spanning Gandhi's early experiences in South Africa to his pivotal role in India's fight for independence. Attenborough's meticulous attention to historical accuracy is evident in the film's recreation of iconic moments such as Salt March, the Dandi March, and the Quit India movement. The directorial commitment to authenticity extends to the casting of Indian actors in key roles, ensuring culturally rich and diverse perception of the characters surrounding that is Gandhi. While cinematic liberties are taken, and they are inevitable in adopting real events on the screen, Gandhi successfully balances the demand of storytelling with a respectful representation of historical truth. The film serves as a valuable educational tool, offering audience a vivid and emotionally engaging window into the past. The global impact of Gandhi cannot be overstated. Released in 1982, the film contributed significantly to shaping the international perception of Mahatma Gandhi. The film played a crucial role in familiarizing audience with the philosophy of non-violence and civil disobedience. Gandhi, who had already been symbol of resistance and justice, became even more accessible to those who may not have been well-versed in the intricacies of Indian history. The film's global success introduced Gandhi to new generations, fostering a renewed perception of his principles in the context of contemporary global issues. Gandhi received widespread critical acclaim and numerous accolades, including 8 Academy Awards, Ben Kingsley's performance in particular earned him Academy Award for Best Actor, a testament to the depth and authenticity he brought to the character. The film's success at the Oscars and other prestigious award ceremonies understood its significance not only as a cinematic achievement, but also as cultural and historical milestone. Gandhi became a touchstone for excellence in biographical filmmaking, setting a standard of how historical figures could be portrayed on the big screen. Mahatma Gandhi's indelible legacy has transcended borders and cultures, making him a compelling subject for filmmaking around the world. While Bollywood has produced notable films on Gandhi, the international cinematic landscapes has also embraced the Mahatma's, offering diverse perspective on his life, principles, and impact on global history. We try to explore here Gandhi, the way he is portrayed in films in Bollywood and beyond Bollywood, examining various cultural interpretations and discussing significance of representing Mahatma in diverse cinematic contexts. Gandhi's influence extends far beyond the confines of Indian cinema, and filmmakers from diverse cultural backgrounds have sought to capture the essence of Mahatma on the screen. These international cinematic explorations provide unique perspective, offering audience a nuanced understanding of Gandhi's global impact and relevance. One notable example is the 1996 film Lage Raho Munna Bhai from Bollywood, which features a modern-day protagonist who is visited by Gandhi's spirit. While Bollywood has contributed significantly to cinematic portrayal of Gandhi, it focuses on the lens and the cultural narratives. Directed by Feroz Abbas Khan, Gandhi My Father dwells into the complex and strained relationship between Mahatma Gandhi and his eldest son Harilal Gandhi. While the film is rooted in Indian history, it provides an intimate exploration on the personal struggle within Gandhi's own family. The film offers a critical examination of Gandhi as a father, highlighting the challenges and sacrifices that came with the role as a national leader. The significance of Gandhi, My Father, lies in willingness to portray Gandhi in a multidimensional light, acknowledging the personal conflict that coexisted with his public persona. By exploring the emotional complexities of Gandhi, or we can say Gandhi's family life, the film humanizes Mahatma, making him more relatable to the audience regardless of cultural background. The short film, directed by Leo Dehaene, takes a unique approach by exploring Gandhi's time in London and as a law student. Set against the background of racial discrimination faced by Gandhi in early 20th century in England, the film provides a British perspective on the formative experiences that shaped Mahatma's philosophy. Gandhi and the Chocolate Soldiers, 2018, a British perspective. It sheds light on Gandhi's early encounters with injustice and racism, illustrating how these experiences influenced the development of his commitment to of principles and impact of his time abroad, the evolution of philosophy. Gandhi, a Poet of Power, 2008, a French documentary. Directed by Raphael Millet, this French documentary takes a poetic contemplative approach to Gandhi's life through a combination of archival footage, interviews, and artistic visuals. By adopting a more abstract and reflective style, Gandhi, a Poet of Power, invites audience to engage with the philosophical underpinnings of Gandhi's principles. The significance of his French documentary lies in its emphasis on the poetic and philosophical aspect of Gandhi's character. It transcends the traditional biographical approach, encourages viewers to connect with spiritual dimensions of Gandhi's life and legacy. The next is an Anglo-Indian perspective on Viceroy's House, 2017. Directed by Gurinder Chadha, Viceroy's House provides an Anglo-Indian perspective on the chaotic events leading to the partition of India in 1947. While the film is not solely focused on Gandhi, his presence looms large, central figuring negotiating the challenges of independence and communal tensions. Viceroy's House explores the complexities of political negotiation and the impact of historical dimensions on ordinary lives. By presenting Gandhi within borders, Viceroy's House explores the complexities of political negotiation and impact of historical decisions on ordinary life. By presenting Gandhi within the broader context of Indian struggle for independence, the film offers Anglo-Indian perspective that acknowledges the varied experience and perspective surrounding his pivotal period in the history. There is a lot which I can talk about on significance of diverse cinematic representations and various other things. There are various challenges and approaches, but respecting the time limit and the signal from a respected chair, I would conclude. There are few things which can be looked at when we talk on Gandhi on silver screen. There are things like the challenges of historical accuracy, oversimplification and hagiography, depicting personal struggle and conflicts, cultural sensitivity and authenticity, balancing idealism and realism, controversies surrounding specific films that can also be discussed when we think about silver screen, the ethical responsibility of the filmmakers. These are the things which can be looked at. Even there are films like Gandhi, My Mentor, a personal exploration, Lal Kaptan, exploring social injustices, that was also another film. Munna Bhai MBBS 2003 and Lage Raho Munna Bhai 2006, Gandhi and Company 2019. So these are some other films which I have taken in this presentation. Then I have, we can talk on relevance of Gandhi in 21st century also, but I would conclude this with my last paragraph here. The cinematic journey of portrayal of Mahatma Gandhi is a testament to the evolving nature of storytelling and its profound impact on collective memory. From the early black and white depictions to the contemporary explorations, filmmakers have grappled with the challenges of presenting a multifaceted figure whose legacy transcends time and borders. The enduring relevance of Gandhi's principles in 21st century underscores the timelessness of his philosophy. Films continue to be dynamic medium for engaging with the Mahatma's legacy, offering contemporary perspective and resonate with the challenges of the modern world. As the cinematic landscapes evolve, filmmakers carry the responsibility of preserving the authenticity of historical narratives, navigating cultural sensitivity, and contributing to a more nuanced, comprehensive understanding of Mahatma Gandhi. In the years to come, the cinematic portrayal of Gandhi will likely continue to adapt and evolve, reflecting the ever-changing dynamics of storytelling and cultural interpretation. The Mahatma Gandhi's legacy imprinted on the silver screen will endure as a source of inspiration, reflection, and guiding light for those seeking to navigate the complexities of human experience. Thank you for joining me on this cinematic exploration on Mahatma Gandhi's life and legacy. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद। सत्र के अध्यक्ष आदरणीय प्रेमानंद मिश्र सर, अभी सिनेमा और गांधी के संबंध को दिखाने वाले प्रोफेसर जगदीश जोशी साहब, हमारे सीयू जी के साथी डॉक्टर बेरिलानंद, प्रोफेसर अतुल परमार जी, डॉक्टर अमरेन जी, डॉक्टर दिव्येश जी और बड़ी संख्या में आए हमारे विद्यार्थी साथियों विद्वानों। महात्मा गांधी द्वारा स्थापित गुजरात विद्यापीठ में इतने सारे गांधी विशेषज्ञों के पास सामने गांधी पर बोलने की मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, और ये जो ताकत मुझे मिल रही है वो लोक और संगीत की थोड़ी बहुत मेरा काम रहा है उसके बल पे करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। मैं इसमें लोक और गांधी की बात भी करूँगा और संगीत की भी। लोक की बात इसलिए कि मेरा ये मानना है कि गांधी को गांधी बनाने में शास्त्र से ज़्यादा लोक की भूमिका रही है। क्लास से ज़्यादा फोक कल्चर और फोक के लोग, गांव के लोगों ने गांधी को गांधी बनाया है। और गांधी की जो मेरी पहली पहचान, गांधी को जिस रूप में मैं जाना था, बहुत छोटा एकदम बच्चे के रूप में, तो मेरे गांव में गीतों में गांधी आ रहे थे और उन गीतों में मैंने सुना कोई गांधी बाबा हैं। जब पहले या सेकंड क्लास में मैं पहुंचा और 15 अगस्त के दिन गांधी जी की जय कहने को कहा गया, तो मैंने अपने टीचर से पूछा था ये मेरे गांव वाले गांधी बाबा हैं या कोई दूसरे गांधी जी हैं, क्योंकि मेरे समझ में यही लग रहा था कि वो तो हमारे गांव में ही केवल पाए जाते हैं। 6-7 साल पहले जब एक जगह मैं गांधी और संगीत को लेकर काम कर रहा था तो खोजना शुरू किया, और थोड़ा मुझे आश्चर्य भी हुआ कि गांधी के जीवन के इतने बड़े पक्ष पर बहुत कम सामग्री मिल रही थी, किताबें नहीं मिल रही थी, लेख नहीं मिल रहे थे। ये जरूर है, पिछले 3 साल पहले लक्ष्मी सुब्रमण्यम की किताब आई, सिंगिंग गांधी जी इंडिया म्यूजिक एंड सोनिक नेशनलिज्म। BBC लंदन के एक पत्रकार मधुकर उपाध्याय जी ने थोड़ा सा इस पर काम किया है, और टेरेसा जोसेफ और AM थॉमस का भी एक अच्छा लेख मुझे देखने को मिला इस टॉपिक पर। गांधी और संगीत के पक्ष को अगर हम 4-5 हिस्सों में, पार्ट्स में बांट कर देखें तो एक पहला पॉइंट ये बनता है कि गांधी की संगीत की समझ कैसी थी और किस संगीत की समझ थी, क्योंकि संगीत के भी बहुत सारे अलग अलग पार्ट्स हैं। दूसरा, गांधी लोक को कैसे देखते थे और लोक संगीत को कैसे देखते थे। तीसरा, लोक गांधी को कैसे देखता था और क्यों देखता था। चौथा, गांधी ने संगीत का किस तरह उपयोग किया, क्योंकि उनके लिए संगीत सिर्फ मनोरंजन का माध्यम नहीं था, एक टूल्स की तरह भी गांधी संगीत को देखते हैं। और पांचवा पॉइंट ये कि सिनेमा, नाटक और संगीत में गांधी किस तरह से आते हैं, जिसकी चर्चा भी थोड़ी देर पहले की भी गई। साथियों, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि बाकी देशों में संगीत चाहे जिस रूप में हो, भारत में म्यूजिक एक अलग रोल प्ले कर रहा है। इसका एक बड़ा प्रमाण तो यही है कि भारत की शुरुआती फिल्मों में 70 गाने हुआ करते थे, अगर आप इंद्र सभा को याद करें तो। और आज भी विदेश के जो हमारे कुछ साथी इस बात से इरिटेट होते हैं कि आप लोग इतने गाने के चक्कर में क्यों पड़े रहते हो सिनेमा में, लेकिन उन गानों की कुछ भूमिका है। और भारत में अगर मैं कहूँ, थोड़ा सा आप लोग कह सकते हैं मेरा पूर्वाग्रह है, लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम पश्चिम से पूरब की ओर जाते हैं, संगीत तत्व की मात्रा उसी अनुपात में बढ़ती जाती है जितनी पानी की मात्रा बढ़ती जाती है। जहाँ जल तत्व अधिक होगा, मेरा मानना है कि उसमें संगीत तत्व भी बढ़ता चला जाता है। बल्कि मैं जिस इलाके से आता हूँ वहाँ पर तो ये कहा जाता है कि आप संगीत में अच्छा कर लेंगे तो संसद पहुँच जाएंगे। हमारे इलाके के बहुत सारे गायक संसद में सीधे पहुँच जाते हैं। खैर, सामान्यतः ये माना जाता है कि गांधी बड़े ही रूखे, शुष्क और रसहीन व्यक्ति थे, लेकिन कई जगहों पर यह पाया गया कि गांधी रस से लबालब भरे हुए थे। और वो खुद कहते हैं कि अगर मेरे पास म्यूजिक और हंसी की ताकत नहीं होती तो जितने कामों की बोझ से मैं दबा रहता हूँ, मैं कब का मर चुका होता। और वायलिन सीखने से लेके बाद में बीथोवन को सुनने तक, और लगभग सभी आश्रमों में जिस तरह से वो संगीत को जगह देते हैं, यहाँ तक कि साबरमती आश्रम का अगर मैं उदाहरण लूँ, यहाँ पर ध्यान देने की बात है कि वो कौन सा संगीत चुनते हैं। एक व्यक्ति संगीत है, एक समूह संगीत है, एक वह संगीत है जो मंच पर होता है और सामने ऑडियंस बैठ करके देखती है और तालियां बजाती है। वो संगीत गांधी के बहुत काम का नहीं था। एक दूसरा संगीत है जिसमें सभी गा रहे होते हैं, सभी नाच रहे होते हैं, सभी सुर मिला रहे होते हैं, कुछ अपना अपना काम भी कर रहे होते हैं, जिसे आप गरबा के रूप में देख सकते हैं, जो लोक संगीत के रूप में देख सकते हैं। आदिवासी संगीत को देखिए, आदिवासी संगीत का एक मोटो ही है, जे नाची से बाची, वही बचेगा जो नाचेगा, जो गाएगा वो जाएगा, वो चलेगा। अगर आपके पास गति है, आपके पास संगीत है, तो आप जिंदा रहोगे, और अगर आप रुक गए। लेकिन वहाँ पर संगीत दर्शन वाला संगीत नहीं है कि एक आदमी आर्ट के रूप में करे और दूसरा केवल देखता रह जाए। दूसरी बात ये कि संगीत केवल वो सरगम और सारेगमा पमागमा या एक दक्षता, एक स्किल भी नहीं है। बापू की संगीत की समझ इतनी साफ थी कि वे कहते थे कि संगीत सिर्फ वाद्य यंत्रों से या गले से निकलने वाली चीज़ नहीं है, दिल से निकलता है, और इसीलिए सबके दिलों को नए सूत्र में बांध लेता है। और कई अधिवेशनों में बाकायदा संगीत के कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन करते हैं, और 1946 के अधिवेशन में कहते हैं कि हमारे अधिवेशनों में जो प्रोग्राम हो उसमें गांव के संगीत को भी जगह दिया जाए। गांव के स्थानीय वाद्य यंत्रों को, हारमोनियम के बहुत ज़्यादा वो प्रशंसक नहीं थे, जो स्थानीय वाद्य यंत्र होते हैं उनको महत्व देने की बात करते थे। संगीत का एक रूप और कि वो बहुत तेज और बीट्स वाले संगीत की जगह पर धीमी लय के संगीत को पकड़ते थे। और बल्कि एक छोटा सा बारीक सा अंतर है कि एक राग होता है और एक धुन होता है, मतलब रागाज एंड ट्यून्स जिसको हम कह लें। धुन की खासियत ये होती है कि वो फिक्स होती है और धीरे धीरे पुरानी हो जाती है। एक गाने को अगर आप धुन सुनते हैं तो 100-200 बार के बाद वो थोड़ा सा लगेगा कि अब तो बहुत सुन लिया। लेकिन राग की खासियत ये होती है कि हर बार वो नया होता है। एक राग अगर कोई गायक गा रहा है और 10 मिनट बाद अब दोबारा उसी गायक से उसी राग को गाने को कहें तो अलग ढंग से गाएगा, क्योंकि कुछ फिक्स नहीं है। जब गांधी उन गीतों को उठाते हैं तो थोड़ा सा राग का आधार लेते हो, चाहे खमाज हो, राग दरबारी हो या जो भी हो। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो लोक के उस पक्ष को पकड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं जिसमें रोज नए होने वाला तत्व पाया जाता है। और ये भी कि सरगम और तान से भरे संगीत की जगह पर वो शब्दों को चुनते हैं, क्योंकि शब्द के माध्यम से भी वो बहुत कुछ काम कर रहे होते हैं। और शब्द भी उन लोगों का चुनते हैं जिनको लोक ने प्रतिष्ठा दी हो, चाहे मीराबाई हो, चाहे तुलसीदास हो या नरसिंह मेहता हो। जब उसी दौर में संगीत के ऊपर दरबारों का और महलों का और सभाओं का बहुत दबाव था, जिससे संघर्ष करते हुए पंडित विष्णु दिगंबर संगीत को मुक्त करने की बात कर रहे होते हैं। मुझे ये कुछ चीज़ें इसलिए भी पसंद आई क्योंकि जिस संगीत केंद्र से मैं शिक्षा ले रहा था वो विष्णु दिगंबर जी द्वारा स्थापित था मिराज महाराष्ट्र में। उसके शाखाएं पूरे भारत में पाई जाती हैं। हमारे इलाहाबाद में वो शाखा थी जहाँ से मैं जुड़ा हुआ था। तो साबरमती में गांधी जी जब स्कूल खोलते हैं तो विषय के रूप में न केवल संगीत को रखते हैं बल्कि पंडित विष्णु दिगंबर के पास मगनलाल गांधी को भेजकर ये कहते हैं कि हमें एक अच्छा संगीत शिक्षक चाहिए। और विष्णु दिगंबर जी उनको एक शिक्षक भेजते हैं जिनका नाम था पंडित नारायण मोरेश्वर खरे। आप लोगों ने दांडी यात्रा की जो भी तस्वीर देखी होगी उसमें एक व्यक्ति तानपुरा लिए नजर आता है, वो वही खरे साहब है। और पंडित मोरेश्वर खरे ने गांधी जी के प्रिय भजनों का बाकायदा संग्रह तैयार किया। आश्रम भजनावली नाम से जो प्रकाशित है, आप लोग जानते हैं, 365 पेज की किताब है। इस किताब में आप ध्यान दीजिएगा कि प्रत्येक पद के साथ राग और ताल का वर्णन किया गया है। और इस किताब में केवल हिंदी के नहीं, केवल गुजराती के नहीं, बल्कि मराठी, बंगाली और अंग्रेजी भाषा के भी गीत संकलित हैं। और अंत में राष्ट्रीय गीत के रूप में वंदे मातरम है। 6 जनवरी 1938 को बहुत ही कम आयु में मोरेश्वर खरे जी का देहांत हो जाता है। और वो गांधी से कितने जुड़े थे और गांधी उनको कितना मानते थे, वो छोटा सा हिस्सा है जो उन्होंने उनके लिए श्रद्धांजलि लेख लिखा था। उसमें लिखते हैं कि कृत्रिम आवाज से सुंदर संगीत पैदा करने की कला तो बहुत लोग हासिल कर सकते हैं, लेकिन शुद्ध जीवन की एक रास्ता से उस संगीत को पैदा करने की कला बहुत कम लोग प्राप्त करते हैं। पंडित खरे उन्हीं कुछ कम लोगों में से थे जिन्होंने संपूर्णता के साथ उस कला को प्राप्त किया था। पंडित जी ने संगीत में गुजरात का जो रस पैदा किया है उससे गुजरात को बराबर जारी रखना चाहिए, ये महात्मा गांधी के कथन हैं। ऐसे ही दांडी यात्रा के दौरान वो एक नए व्यक्ति को संगीत की दुनिया में परिचय कराते हैं और जिसको गांधी एक बार सुन लेते हैं। उनकी चर्चा उस जमाने में भी काफ़ी होती थी। जब वो जा रहे होते हैं तो बीच रास्ते में संध्या सभा में कहा जाता है कि ये बड़े अच्छे गाने वाले हैं, इनको सुनिए। और उनको सुनाते हैं। जो व्यक्ति गाते हैं वो गीत है, गिरी ने गिराओ मझधार में बहाओ, भव सागर में डुबाओ, मगर हाथ नहीं छोड़ेंगे। आप लोग जानते हैं वे बाद में भारत के बहुत मशहूर गायक बने, पंडित ओंकारनाथ ठाकुर, जो गुजरात काशी हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय में संगीत विभाग के अध्यक्ष बनते हैं। अगर मैं दूसरे पार्ट पर आऊं कि गांधी संगीत का उपयोग कैसे करते हैं, यूनेस्को ने अपने मोटिव में एक तरह से कहा है कि दैट सिंस वार्स बिगिन इन द माइंड ऑफ मैन, इट इज द माइंड्स ऑफ मैन दैट द डिफेंसेज ऑफ पीस मस्ट बी कंस्ट्रक्टेड। सब कुछ हमारे मस्तिष्क से शुरू हो रहा है, चाहे वो युद्ध हो या घृणा, तो हम मस्तिष्क को कैसे शांत करें। इस बात को एक उदाहरण द्वारा मैं बताऊं जिसमें गांधी एक काम करते हैं। और बिल्कुल आखिरी दिनों में 1946 में 14 जनवरी 1946 को चेन्नई गए थे और जो तब का मद्रास, वहाँ पर एक युवती का गाना सुनते हैं। और आज़ादी के बाद 2 अक्टूबर 1947 को गांधी के जन्मदिन का आयोजन जब होता है तो उस लड़की के पास तमिलनाडु की, वो कहते हैं कि मेरा ये प्रिय भजन है मीरा का, इसको तुम गा के सुनाओ। तमिल भाषी लड़की बोलती है कि इतने बड़े बड़े देश में गायक हैं और मैं न हिंदी जानती हूँ न इसके शब्द को समझती हूँ, मैं भला इसे कैसे गा सकती हूँ। फिर वो कहते हैं दोबारा कि तुम चाहे पढ़ के दे दो, लेकिन तुम्हारे ही मुँह से इस गीत को मैं सुनूंगा। अंत में वो लड़की किसी भी तरीके से कोशिश करती है कि किसी से समझ के अपने साथियों से जुड़ के उस गाने को गाने का प्रयास करती है, और जब उसको लगता है कि कुछ गीत बन गई है, बात बन रही है, तो चेन्नई के ऑल इंडिया रेडियो में वो गीत तैयार होता है। सरकारी काम तब भी थोड़ा लेट ही होता था, तो 1 अक्टूबर की रात को 2 बजे वो गीत फिर वहाँ से जहाज़ से दिल्ली पहुँचाया जाता है, और गांधी के 78वें जन्मदिन पर 2 अक्टूबर 1947 की शाम को इसे बजाया जाता है। दरबारी काढ़ा में वो बंदिश है। इस घटना के मात्र 4 महीने बाद वही युवती एक दिन शाम को रेडियो पर सुनती है कि गांधी नहीं रहे, और इसके तत्काल बाद उसी की आवाज़ में गाया वो गीत रेडियो पर बजना शुरू होता है। हरि तुम हरो जन की पीड़, द्रौपदी की लाज राखी तुम बढ़ायो चीर। और इस रेडियो पर आवाज़ को सुनते ही वह युवती बेहोश होकर गिर जाती है। वो युवती आने वाले समय की भारत रत्न MS सुब्बुलक्ष्मी थी। तो एक ऐसी लड़की जिसको कि तमिलनाडु के एकदम किनारे से उठा करके भारत के केंद्र में पहुंचाने का काम करते हैं गांधी। लेकिन सवाल है क्यों करते हैं। वही सुब्बुलक्ष्मी ने 5 फिल्मों में अभिनय भी किया था, और जो फिल्में थीं वो मीरा, सावित्री, शकुंतला, इस तरह की फिल्में थीं। लेकिन इस गीत का, बस 2 मिनट और लेंगे, इस गीत का खास पक्ष ये है कि इस गीत के माध्यम से हिंदी और तमिल का संबंध जुड़ता है, उत्तर और दक्षिण का जुड़ता है, कर्नाटक संगीत और हिंदुस्तानी संगीत में भी एक गैप बनता है, उसका संबंध जुड़ता है। और इतनी बातें जाने अनजाने गांधी कर जाते हैं, और बाद में मुझे नहीं मालूम कि अगर गांधी ने वो गीत नहीं दिया होता तो सुब्बुलक्ष्मी हिंदी में 50 गीत गा पाती या नहीं गा पाती। गांधी ने धार्मिक गीतों को भी राष्ट्रीय गीत बना दिया, और संगीत के माध्यम से हजारों लाखों लोगों के जीवन को उद्वेलित किया। बाकी सारी चीज़ें मैं छोड़ रहा हूँ, केवल एक छोटा सा हिस्सा लोक का, इसलिए कि जहाँ जहाँ गांधी जाते हैं वहाँ की लगभग हर एक स्थानीय भाषा में सैकड़ों गीत रचे जाते हैं। पहले गांधी लोकगीत को महत्व देते हैं और फिर लोक गांधी को महत्व देता है। और जैसे मैं जिस भोजपुरी भाषी क्षेत्र से आता हूँ, हम लोगों के पास एक किताब है भोजपुरी लोकगीतों में गांधी चर्चा। उसमें 300 से ज़्यादा गीत हैं जो सिर्फ गांधी पर केंद्रित हैं, और 2-3 गीतों का केवल मैं सिर्फ जिक्र करके अपनी बात खत्म करूँगा। और आप ये देखिए कि लोक सिंबल को, प्रतीकों को कैसे यूज करता है। एक गीत है, किशन कन्हैया के जन्म जेल में भैले, गांधी जी के घरवा जेलखाना हो, सीताराम को भजो। कन्हैया कृष्ण का जन्म जेल में हुआ और गांधी जी का तो घर ही जेल है। तो कृष्ण का जन्म जेल में भैले, गांधी जी के घरवा जेलखाना हो, सीताराम के भजो। माखन चोर कन्हैया जी रहले, गांधी नमक चोर मर्दाना हो, सीताराम के भजो। अगले गीत में वो कहते हैं कि गांधी के आइल जमाना, देवर जेलखाना गईले ना, जब से तपे सरकार बहादुर, भारत मरे बिन दाना, देवर जेलखाना गईले ना, हाथ हाथ कड़िया गोड़वा में बेड़िया, देशवा भरी हो गेल दीवाना, देवर जेलखाना गईले ना। और इसके अलावा कई गीत जो बहुत लोकप्रिय हो गए, चरखवा चालू रहे, जिसमें वो कहते हैं कि गांधी दुल्हा बन रहे हैं और जितने वॉलंटियर हैं वो सब बाराती बन रहे हैं और सब दुल्हन को लाने जा रहे हैं। और अगर जो लोग लोक से जुड़े होंगे वो जानते हैं कि दुल्हा जब ससुराल जाता है तो रूठ जाता है और खाना नहीं खाता है। तो सब लोग रूठे हुए दूल्हे यानी गांधी को मनाने पहुंचते हैं और पूछते हैं कि तुम्हें क्या चाहिए जब तुम खाना खाओगे और शादी का रस्म पूरा होगा। तो कहते हैं कि मुझे दहेज चाहिए। तो बोले दहेज में क्या चाहिए? तो कहते हैं सुराज चाहिए। और इस तरह के सुराज को लेने के लिए चरखा चालू रहे और दुल्हा बने गांधी जाते हैं। ऐसे सैकड़ों गीत हैं। मेरा ये कहना है कि जब आज के समय में विज्ञापन एजेंसियों से लेके बाबा लोग तक संगीत का इतना उपयोग कर रहे हैं, अकादमिक संस्थान भी संगीत का उपयोग कर सकते हैं। उन अर्थों में नहीं जहां वो सिर्फ सुलाने का काम करे या मनोरंजन का काम करे, बल्कि उन अर्थों में कि वो हमें बेहतर मनुष्य कैसे बना सकती है, हमारे मनोभावों को और उदात्त और उच्च स्तर पर कैसे पहुंचा सकती है। और इस मामले में गांधी हमारी बहुत मदद करते हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद तिवारी जी। जब आप बोल रहे थे मुझे वो मैला आंचल में जो गांधी के बारे में कुछ जो कविताएं थी वो याद आ रही थी। तो एक बहुत बड़ा विषय है और बहुत अच्छा एक नया विषय आपने लेके लोगों को सामने रखा विद्यार्थियों के। अब मैं आमंत्रित करता हूँ डॉक्टर बेरीला and she will speak on M.K. Gandhi and Veer Alvin uplifting the downtrodden.
A very good afternoon, and at the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this conference for inviting me to speak here. And my paper is titled Gandhi and Veer Alvin, Uplifting the Downtrodden. So I would begin to present this paper by saying that both Gandhi and Alvin insisted and expressed their commitment towards uplifting the downtrodden, but for different reasons. For Gandhi, the Dalits and the Adivasis were an inherent part of India, and therefore part and parcel of the society. Alvin, a British by birth, a priest by profession, came to India in the 1920s to work among the poor. Now let me just throw some light on the political condition of British India during this time. So there was this raging debate within the Indian National Congress, which was founded in 1885, as to what should precede political reforms, whether social reforms should precede political reforms. So there was the Indian National Congress, as we all know, was set up in 1885 by A.O. Hume. And the major influence of, for the reasons for the setting up of the INC was the significant role that the Theosophists played in setting up this political organization. Who are the Theosophists? The Theosophists were of the view that caste as a debilitating factor in the Indian society can be abolished by going in for extensive social reforms. And therefore, it is possible to reform the society to such an extent that they can be the Indians will be in a course of time would be self-government. And this was a Theosophist view. So with this objective, with this aim, the INC was founded by a Britisher, A.O. Hume, in 1885. However, as the sessions began in the INC, there was an intense debate as to whether social reform should not precede political reform, and they pressed for a decision. In this, they had many friends to support them. Among them was to be found the Government of India, Sir Auckland Colvin. So the British officials were of the view that the Indians, before asking for or before teaching the British their duties with regard to self-government, they should turn their attention to social reform in preference to endeavors that they were making. Amidst this was also the important and significant role that was played by the utilitarians. The utilitarian movement began in Britain in the late 19th century. James Mill being one of the utilitarians. So there were a couple of British officials who, in their quest for social reformation, enabled the missionaries working in India to support this endeavor. So there was also this debate between the missionaries who favored a gradual reform process by means of education, upliftment of the Dalits, upliftment of women, abolishing practices like sati, getting rid of evils like child marriages and the caste, which they felt were the reasons for the curse that was found in the India, which was because the Indian social system was unable to reform itself. But then there were the utilitarians who supported the missionaries. So this in turn happened exactly during the time when Indians themselves were making efforts towards social reform. So with this in mind, in 1905, Gokhale founded what is called as the Servants of India Society. So the Servants of India Society was founded with the objective of creating national missionaries who will further the significance of social reform and who will create among the Hindus people who would work for the upliftment of the masses. So in Britain, there were two groups of people. One set of Britishers, they were obviously felt that there should be no Swaraj, because this came in direct opposition to Gandhi's plan of Swaraj, his idea of Swaraj. So there was fear expressed by many well-wishers of India among the religious groups that Swaraj would mean internal chaos and each community will fight for its own hand. They also felt that most communities in India live amicably and Hindu-Muslim tension was another source of concern. But however, there was another group which held that most communities, the British cannot conciliate them unless Indians learn to work out their own salvation, and therefore they should let the Indians govern themselves. And chief among these was also Warrior Elvin. So the forerunner to this mode of thinking was C.F. Andrews, one of the Charles Freer Andrews, Stanley Jones. These were very close Christian missionary friends of Gandhi. So they held that Christ should be manifested in an Indian way by the church, and they should avoid the paraphernalia of bishopry and the hierarchical order of the Church of England. Therefore, they believed that in the setting up of ashrams, the Christian ashram should be modeled on the life of the Indian sadhus. And this was in a way very different from the view that was held by the majority of the Indian nationalists. So with this objective in mind, the Christ Seva Sangh was founded by Jack Winslow, a British priest belonging to the Anglican Church in 1922. So Winslow lamented the implications of missionary imperialism deeply and made it a primary aim of Christ Seva Sangh to demonstrate that Christianity possessed the strength and integrity to flourish in India without imperial support, and indeed to contribute to the future of an independent Indian state. So forerunner of this line of thought in India is Charles Freer Andrews, as I had already mentioned. He was someone who wrote the book Indian Renaissance. He was also for social reforms, and he also held that caste as a debilitating factor should be abolished, before which India can govern itself. Winslow met with Andrews in 1905, and he was of the view that the role of the ashrams can be adapted by the Christian missionaries. Elvin came to India as an Anglican priest and joined the CSS, the Christ Seva Sangh. He brought a mixed group of people, and these people came to India during Gandhi's civil disobedience campaign. So the British government's policies against the missionaries who favored Gandhi and people who did not favor Gandhi's movement for civil disobedience was very clear. The lines were neatly drawn. So there were two differing views among the missionaries. The Christ Seva Sangh, for example, favored Indian self-government. The other group saw the movement for Swaraj as dangerous. The communities fighting each other. They feared Brahmin domination. They feared Hindu-Muslim conflict was another source of concern. So this was exactly the time in 1931 when the Gandhi-Irwin Pact is signed. So the Gandhi-Irwin Pact was a settlement. Gandhi himself called the pact as the principles on which the Sermon on the Mount was founded. He was using a religious idiom to describe the outcome of the Warrior-Elvin Pact. Immediately after which, there was the second roundtable conference that was held in London. So Gandhi undertook a fast unto death. This came with Ambedkar's demand for separate electorates. There was a Pune Pact. A settlement was effected between Gandhi and Ambedkar. Warrior-Elvin had something, he was very close to Gandhi. He was also on his mission. He was already a member of the CSS. He was undertaking a tour of the poor slums in and around Bombay. The CSS was founded in Pune, so he undertook a tour nearby. And this was also the time when he was meeting with the INC leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and so many others. So Warrior-Elvin had to say this about Gandhi's fast.
Gandhi was undertaking a fast in the Aga Khan Palace. So Elvin says, and this is a quote from Ramachandra Guha's book, Savaging the Civilized. Christ going to the crucifixion on a Rolls Royce. The place where Gandhi fasted was Aga Khan Palace, where women and untouchables were not allowed to enter. Immediately came with this was Gandhi's constructive program had already begun from the 1922. So the Congress workers had dwelled into action for the upliftment of the Dalits. So Elvin desired to work with the untouchables, and therefore he made a tour of these areas. However, when he returned after his tour, again from Guha's book, Vallabhbhai Patel advised him to go to the Adivasis, as it was the Hindus' duty to take care of the Dalits. As we all understand, these were the country was in a turmoil because of the fast unto death of Gandhi, as well as the Pune Pact that followed. So how did Elvin actually end up with the Adivasis? The Servants of India Society, as I already said, 1905, had begun its work among the Adivasis. A.B. Thakkar, a very close associate, one of them, who also was a founding member of the Servants of India Society, as well as of Gandhi, he had set up ashrams to work among the Adivasis. Gandhi was enthusiastic about Adivasis becoming a part of the Bardoli campaign, as Hardiman suggests in his book, The Devi Movement. So the Devi movement among the Adivasis was finding common ground with the Gandhians. So the Beel Seva Mandal was very active. They had ashrams. They had set up night schools. The nationalist movement converted these ashrams into national schools. And Elvin, during this time, made a decision to work with the Gons, another Adivasi group. By this time, he had come up with his research writings. After living amongst them, one of them is Muria and their Gothals, about the Gons. However, Elvin and Gandhi disagreed on some of the major issues. What were the disagreements about? One was about the issue of liquor consumption. As we all know, the Devi movement and then the Gandhian movement that followed was about convincing the Adivasis or reforming the Adivasis by asking them to follow habits of cleanliness, by asking them to abjure liquor, giving up on practices of following a dress code. These were some of the agenda items on the Gandhians' plate. However, Elvin disagreed with, given his long period of stay with the tribals, he disagreed with all of these. He felt that liquor consumption shouldn't be something which should be led to the Adivasis for themselves to decide. He also felt that the Gandhians should not impose their dress code on the Adivasis. The Gandhians should not impose their dress codes on the Adivasis. With regard to the question of the Adivasis, Elvin did not quite agree with any of the nationalist leaders. So in his tract that he wrote, which is called as A Loss of Nerve, a comparative study of the result of the contact of people in the aboriginal areas of Bastar state and central provinces, he argued that this had resulted in the Adivasis losing their way of life, which is very different from the mainstream way of life. And he also favored methods of integration versus isolation. Most of these British officials, I'll wind up in 5 minutes, most of the British officials, including Hutton and Heimendorf and others, wanted the Adivasis to maintain their autonomous ways of living. They did not want integration. On the other hand, the nationalist movement, for example, favored a complete assimilation and bringing the tribals into the national mainstream. So this was a major difference. So let me just conclude, or let me just talk about one piece that Elvin wrote, and that is The Aboriginals, which is a book that he wrote, which is a pamphlet that he wrote in 1941. In response, G.S. Gurye, another sociologist, another anthropologist from the Bombay University, he wrote a tract titled The Aboriginals So-Called. And this was a major debate between if they really belonged to the mainstream, if they really belonged to the Hindu, because Gurye had called them backward Hindus. So to conclude, the Christ Seva Sangh was not a successful method of evangelization and eventually disbanded when it was taken up by Roman Catholic nuns in India. Whereas Elvin had walked out of the church, he had lost his faith and had become an agnost. He became more appreciative of the nationalist point of view when he said that the tribals need to be protected from missionary influence as much as they should be protected from the Hindus. but he was, however, appointed by Nehru as an advisor on tribal affairs. He came up with a blueprint for the governance of tribal areas. The tribals in independent India and the influence that Elvin's policies or Elvin's blueprint had on them can be even seen today, given the raging debate that happens with regard to the religion of the tribals, with regard to the movement of the tribals, etc., etc. I would like to thank you so much. I would like to take up questions later. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very new kind of presentation, making some very observations on a very what we call something very marginalized that you have brought into the notice. Thank you very much. Now the session is open for the questions. Please be precise in asking questions. So you have 15 minutes to please. Yes.
तिवारी साहब से मेरा प्रश्न है कि आपने बहुत बारीकियों से गांधी और संगीत की बात की जो मेरे दिल को गई, लेकिन मेरा यह एक मानना है कि गांधी का संगीत से जो संबंध था वो पूरा दिव्यता से भरा हुआ था। उन्होंने कभी ऐसा नहीं सोचा कि इस जैसे कि वैष्णव जन है तो कौन से राग में मैं इसको पसंद करूं जिससे कि तक जाए वो बात, या कौन सी जो है मनोरंजनात्मक हो, ऐसा कभी उन्होंने नहीं सोचा। तो जितना संगीत का और गांधी मेरा अध्ययन है उसमें मेरे को यह लगता है कि यह बात भी आपको शामिल करनी चाहिए थी।
जो आप बात कर रहे हैं उससे मैं सहमत हूं। गांधी जी ने ज्यादातर भजन को चुना है, लेकिन जो भी भजन है, जैसे जिस भजन की आप बात कर रहे हैं वो खमाज राग में बंदिश है उसकी, या लक्ष्मी ने किया वो दरबारी में है। दो तरह के संगीत है हमारे पास। एक संगीत जो हमारी भावनाओं को उत्तेजित करता है, एक खास तरह के मजे में ले जाता है। एक संगीत वो है जो शांत करता है। तो शास्त्रीय संगीत के वो तत्व या रागों के वो तत्व जो बहुत मेलोडियस होते हुए भी हमें शांति देते हैं, उनका उपयोग भजन में ज़्यादा किया जाता है। और उसके ताल में भी इस बात का ध्यान दिया जाता है कि बहुत द्रुत ताल की जगह पे थोड़े मंथर गति से, धीमी गति से चले। लोक संगीत भी इस बात को करता है। अगर लोक के उन चीज़ों को देखें जो ऋतुओं से जुड़े हुए संगीत हैं, तो सीधे सीधे राग नहीं दिखेगा उसमें, लेकिन मेलोडी ऐसी होगी कि आप सैकड़ों साल तक प्रयोग करते चले जाएं। जैसे अभी छठ गीत आप सुन लीजिए, चैता सुन लीजिए, कजरी सुन लीजिए, एक ही जैसा है लेकिन उसकी मेलोडी खास है। तो गांधी जी के गीतों में किसी भी गीत को अगर आप उठा के देखें तो ये तत्व आता है। और मनोरंजन से ज़्यादा वो बार बार आत्मोन्नयन की, और जिसकी बात आप कर रहे थे, अध्यात्म को बिल्कुल धार्मिक और ख़ास अर्थ में जो लिया जाता है, मुझे लगता है कि अध्यात्म धार्मिक से ज़्यादा हमारे व्यक्ति के उत्थान की भी बात करता है। तो गांधी उसके उस उपयोग की बात करते हैं और उन्हीं गीतों को ज़्यादा चुनते हैं। तो मैं आपकी बात से सहमत हूँ जो आप बात कर रहे हैं, और मैं लगभग अलग बात नहीं किया, उसी बात को रख रहा था। जी 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 हाँ। नहीं, वो आपकी बात सही है। दरअसल मैंने जो पेपर तैयार किया था लगभग 35 मिनट का था और उसको 15 मिनट में कंक्लूड करना था, तो मैंने बहुत सारे हिस्से छोड़ दिए। और बल्कि जो सभाएं होती थी उसका नाम ही प्रार्थना सभा था, और सुबह की जो प्रातः संगीत होता था उसमें भी जिन गीतों का उपयोग करते थे या जिन लिरिक्स को चुनते थे, वो मैंने एक हल्का संकेत किया था कि भक्ति काल के पोएट्स को लेते हैं, वो चाहे वो तुलसीदास हो या वो, तो उनकी सबकी लिरिक्स में आप देखिए तो अध्यात्म वाला और जो उसका तत्व है वो रहता है। जी 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 हुआ है जी वो लगभग फिर 45 मिनट पहले मैंने डॉक्टर अमरेंद्र जी, हाँ, डॉक्टर अमरेंद्र से मैंने कहा कि मैं प्रेजेंटेशन करूंगा, लेकिन अगर मैं सुनाना शुरू करता तो शायद आधे घंटे उसमें चले जाते। और जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। धन्यवाद।
मेरा सवाल जगदीश सर से है और इधर सर लाइक you discussed about cinematic liberty when it comes to Gandhi और historical authenticity की। जैसे सर इधर कई लगभग लास्ट 10 ईयर से वी हैव सीन मूवीज लाइक गांधी वर्सेस गोडसे, एक यूथ, राजकुमार संतोषी, एंड देन देयर वाज अनदर मूवी व्हाई आई किल्ड गांधी बाय जो गोडसे के ऊपर एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री है। सो आप हिस्टोरिकल ऑथेंटिसिटी को लाइक जैसे आप एक हिस्ट्री का स्टूडेंट हो and the way he explains the definition of history itself is like a very subjective. That is why हम गांधी से आजकल उनकी लाइफ से रिलेटेड और भी जो कैरेक्टर्स हैं या फिर सुभाष चंद्र बोस का जो डिसएग्रीमेंट्स है, एंड देन सावरकर का डिसएग्रीमेंट्स है, या फिर गोडसे का जो डिसएग्रीमेंट्स है गांधी को, तो उस हिस्टोरिकल ऑथेंटिसिटी को आज के सिनेमेटिक जर्नी में हाउ वी कैन मेंटेन दैट, लाइक वो सिनेमेटिक लिबर्टी कितनी किस हद तक होनी चाहिए कि जिससे हिस्ट्री भी ठीक हो और एक्यूरेट हो, और जो दूसरा पॉइंट है जो अभी तक रह गया, जैसे कई बार हम ये देखते हैं मे बी दैट इज बीइंग प्रमोटेड बाय स्टेट अकॉर्डिंग टू पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, दे मेक देयर सिनेमा सो दैट दे कैन लेजिटिमेट देमसेल्फ इन द सोसाइटी. So I just want to know that aspect, like how you see Gandhi, like when it comes to other challenges, like the way God said in him.
Thank you for pointing out, which is really very necessary to have discussion on. आपने जिस बात को रखा है उसको मैंने पॉइंट आउट भी किया था मेरे प्लेनरी में कि ऑथेंटिसिटी एंड उसको मेंटेन करना ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न रहता है फिल्म मेकर्स के लिए. यहाँ पर बात यह है कि जब फिल्म मेकर फिल्म बनाते हैं तो देर आर टू डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फिल्म मेकर्स. वन इज डॉक्यूमेंट्री मेकर्स जिसका आपने उल्लेख भी किया है. तो डॉक्यूमेंट्री मेकर्स जो हैं वो ज़्यादा कहते हैं कि दे आर नियर टू हिस्ट्री और दे आर ट्राइंग टू मेक समथिंग विच इज ऑथेंटिकेट. बट दोज हु मेक फिल्म्स, वो तो फिल्म की शुरुआत में ही आपको दिखा देते हैं कि दिस इज फिक्टिशियस, एंड इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस फिल्म पीपल, जो भी फिल्म मेकर्स हैं, वो ऐसा क्लेम नहीं करते हैं दैट वी आर वेरी नियर टू ऑथेंटिसिटी, बिकॉज देयर पर्पस इज डिफरेंट. फिल्म मेकिंग का पर्पस ज़्यादा कॉमर्शलाइज है, ज़्यादा एंटरटेनमेंट वाला है, तो उसमें वो जो है इमेजिनरी और फिर स्टोरी टेलिंग या फिर लिबर्टी ऑफ फिल्म या लिबर्टी ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी दे टेक मोर. तो फिल्म को अगर हम इस प्रकार से लेते हैं कि दे आर अ मीडियम, when they create, those who are the creators, the team, they themselves are of the opinion or with the objective that they don't want to popularize this. अगर वो ऑब्जेक्टिव वहां पर है तो वहां पर जैसे हमने मुन्ना भाई MBBS देखा या फिर जो भी फिल्में देखी, लेकिन दे ट्राई टू गिव फिलोसॉफी ऑफ गांधी. बट ऑथेंटिसिटी की जहां पर बात है तो हिस्ट्री में डेफिनेशंस आपने खुद ने ही बताया कि दे आर पर्सनलाइज्ड डेफिनेशंस मेनी अ टाइम. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन पर्पस, ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द फिल्म मेकिंग. It depends on the objective of any creation, whatever they are doing it, for what purpose they are doing it. तो हो सकता है कि कुछ फिल्म में बहुत नजदीक हो हिस्ट्री की, जैसे आई टॉक्ड अबाउट गांधी विच इज कंपेरेटिवली वेरी नियर टू गांधीज पोर्ट्रेयल ऑफ ऑथेंटिसिटी ऑल्सो. एंड आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट वेरियस फिल्म्स विच आर टचिंग हिज पर्सनल आइडियाज, एज यू सेड, कैरेक्टर्स अराउंड हिम और दैट. होता यह है कि आइडियोलॉजीज एंड थिंकिंग लाइन्स दे चेंज ओवर अ पीरियड. तो जहां पर देखिए अभी गॉडसे वाली जो मूवीज आई हैं या फिर जो भी डिस्कशन है, बहुत सारा एक डिस्कशन और भी चलता है बिटवीन गांधी एंड सरदार ऑल्सो. सो देर आर पीपल हु मेक डिफरेंट फिल्म्स ऑन दिस एज द आइडियोलॉजी एंड थिंकिंग पैटर्न ऑफ पीपल चेंज. तो फिल्म का तो काम है इट्स अ टेम्पोरल आर्ट. उनका तो देखना है कि व्हाट इज देयर इन द माइंड ऑफ पीपल, लोगों को अभी क्या अच्छा लगेगा. दे ट्राई टू प्रेजेंट देयर इन डिफरेंट फ्लेवर्स, दैट इज व्हाट दे डू, बट दे डोंट क्लेम ऑथेंटिसिटी. सो आई सजेस्ट दैट एज अ रिसर्चर और मे बी as a person or scholar of any, not just Gandhi, but of any person or maybe any any creation, you should look forward more to authentic material, that is research material and books, not to the films, but that is another medium of presentation. Thank you.
It's not my question, it is my observation regarding Tiwari sir's paper present on music and Gandhi, Sangeet and Gandhi. During his stay in Bengal, when there was Noakhali incident that happened, now there is a reference by Manuben Gandhi in her book, Bapu My Father, that Gandhiji and the people, they used to go to number of villages in Bengal. And one of the village was Masimpur. And in Masimpur village, in the morning, 7, Gandhiji accompanied with his men and women, and then Manuben Gandhi was also there. And what they used to sing was the song from Rabindranath Tagore, and that is Eklo Jane Re, Eklo Jane Re. This was the most important song that Gandhiji used to recite, and then all the people, they also followed with this particular song. So this is my observation, that we should keep this thing in mind also. It is not only the Narsi Mehta's Pad, Vaishnav Janere and some of the pads of Mira that Gandhiji used to sing, but this was the Tagore's most important part of the song, Eklo Janere, Eklo Janere. Thank you.
नमस्कार, मेरा सवाल मैडम से है, डॉक्टर आनंद ने, कि उन्होंने गांधी और अंबेडकर के बारे में जो बताया, दलित अनटचेबिलिटी, बस मेरा ये जानना है कि दोनों ही अच्छी तरह से काम कर रहे थे, लेकिन आज भी जो समाज में हम देखते हैं वो मानसिकता कैसे बदले, बस उसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? सिंपल सा है, समाज में जो दोनों ही समाज के लिए काम कर रहे थे, तो समाज की जो मानसिकता उस समय थी और अभी में काफी चेंज आया, लेकिन हम वो जो चेंज चाहते थे वो नहीं आ पाया, तो उसके लिए हम कैसे क्या मतलब कर सकते हैं? जिस तरह से हम अभी प्रैक्टिस देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनका एरविन का था, सबका, डॉक्टर अंबेडकर का भी था, उन सबने दलित और उसके लिए वर्क किया, मीन्स सॉल्यूशन कैसे हो सकता है इसका? ये काफी टाइम से चल रहा है सब चीजें। हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर काफी चीज चेंज कर चुके हैं, लेकिन हम जो मानसिकता है वो चेंज नहीं कर पा रहे।
अंबेडकर का जो डिबेट है वो जरा क्लियर हो पाएगा? बी वेरी क्लियर ऑन दैट कि किसकी मानसिकता, इस समाज में कौन सा सवर्णों की मानसिकता नहीं बदली, ये आपका कहना है कि अस्पृश्यों की मानसिकता नहीं बदल रही है, आज भी वो सवर्णों को अपना दुश्मन ही समझ रहे हैं, ये मानसिकता नहीं। और क्लियर आप करेंगे ना, देखिए गांधी और अंबेडकर दोनों ही बहुत अच्छा काम दोनों ही अपने अपने ढंग से किया। गांधी पहले व्यक्ति थे सवर्णों की तरफ से जिन्होंने कहा कि ये प्रयाश्चित करने की जरूरत सवर्णों को, उन्होंने, और अंबेडकर जो थे वो इम्पावर करने की बात कर रहे, दोनों एक अलग अलग एंगल से कर रहे हैं। तो ये बात सही है। मेरे से आप क्या जानना चाहते हैं, ये मैं सिर्फ एक मतलब आपने पढ़ा भी होगा, अरुंधति राय की एक डॉक्टर एक संत करके किताब है, उसमें उन्होंने बताया कि जो वर्तमान भारत है उसने अंबेडकर को भी फेल कर दिया और गांधी को भी हमने रिजेक्ट कर ही दिया है आंकड़े के साथ। तो हम उस अपराध बोध, अगर आप इसको माने तो हम किए हैं, तो अब आगे कुछ ऐड करना हो तो आप करें।
So, see, this was basically about Elvin. I was trying to highlight the fact that Elvin, who came from a
and what was the debate among the British then, the British missionaries then, as to how the society can be reformed. And for Gandhi, it was more important for him to bring the Dalits and the Adivasis into the mainstream of national life. This was not the consideration of Elvin or others like C.F. Andrews and so many others. So they wanted upliftment on the Adivasis terms, or on Dalit terms. So how that actually clashed with Gandhi's ideas and Elvin's ideas. So that is what I sought to bring out in my paper. Yeah, so I didn't get your question.
जी, last please, because वो दूसरा सेशन भी होगा. हाँ.
Kaka-Ba want to bring the Adivasis into the mainstream by make them Sanskritized also. They have established a Brahman temple at that time because Adivasis people were worshipping their own gods also, and these Christians, the missionaries people want to make them Christians also. They have their own ideas behind that also. So clashes between these people were obvious and visible in their idea also. So we feel that you have to look in that matter also. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an aspect which has been brought up by almost everyone in their writings. Yeah. So many people Sanskritization. However, one important aspect that has not been touched upon is the question of land. So this is. Thank you. So, with the question of land. So, what is this question of land? See, as part of the Devi movement, there were tribals who were actually boycotting Parsi liquor shops. And this was, highly appreciated. And this was also one of the Gandhians' agenda that, the liquor should be banned. Liquor should not be consumed by the Adivasis because it is. However, the first Adivasi conference that was held in 1923 in Sheikhpur, the first Adivasi conference where the Gandhians were involved, and Gandhi could not attend because he was in jail. On the other hand, it was Vallabhbhai Patel and Gandhi's wife, Kasturba Gandhi, who attended the conference. Kasturba Gandhi bluntly told the Adivasis, abandoning liquor shops is fine, you should stop with that. Go back and work for the Parsis. So this is the question about land, because most of the Parsis held the Adivasis as bonded laborers, and this is something that nobody wanted to address. And this is something that I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are going to finish the session, sir. Just 3 words that I would like to articulate here based on 3 presentations. Professor Joshi mentioned about historiography versus history of photo. These are the 2 terms generally used in film studies. Limit of history on a screen. So the question you had in mind can be resolved by this way. Second, Professor Tiwari mentioned about the folk culture versus the folk music and classical music. Gandhi is in between there. And what Beryl was mentioning, although not directly, but it has raised a debate on Sanskritization versus the Westernization. A very long debate. Both sides are there, scholars are there. Particularly to the students, we request you to go deeper in that and try to locate Gandhi where he is. You take your side, your position is fine. Thank you very much for this session, sir.
Thank you, Professor Mishra, for chairing the session and all the panelists for being here. And we'll go straight for lunch, and we'll be back to our respective venues for offline presentation. The team which is supposed to present in Gujarati Seminar Hall will come here only. Rest of the 2 teams will go to the main buildings.